Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So if you guys are in here, make sure that you guys smash that like button. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit that bell. Make sure that you guys share the video out to your social media. All right. And I'm going to give a shout out to everybody that's in the building. Got my man Jay the Informant in here. He said, it's too late. It's too late. Close up shop, man. Get your ass up, man. You better get your ass a cup of coffee or something. Shout out to my man Terrence Jackson in the building. We got Tasha Peters in the building. We got old grandma in the building. We got my man Ali 8100 in the building. We got Janesta Coleman in the building. Got my man Bronze the God. Sleep no team no sleep. You know what I'm saying? Team hashtag no sleep in the building. You know what I'm saying? My man Carlton Way is up in here. My man Jared Allen is in the building. Jay Bird in the comment section already explaining. Jay Bird in the comment section already explaining. What's good, y'all? Like you about to be in here, man. I'm just about to let y'all know I'm finna hit the site. Yeah, tell him put the glasses back on. Put the glasses back on, man. Man, so your boy Don Lemon has had a incredibly sour week. He's got everybody coming at him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you guys, I said this in I think the last either video or stream that I did about Don Lemon. And if I was him, which I could never be, but if I was him, I would get out of CNN while I could, because what they're doing right now is they're not only trying to set him up for an ultimate fall, but they're trying to make it where he will never be able to get a job in media ever again, if you ask me, in my opinion. And as we go through these articles, you'll see. Another thing that we'll see is how it doesn't matter what side of the aisle these people are on, whether it's liberal or conservative, they all are about the same thing. And let me ask you guys a question in the comment section. What is that same thing that they're all about? They like, hey, Marie, it's that one thing. You know what I'm saying? It's that one thing that's got me tripping. That's what they about. They about that one thing. So my question is, what is that one thing? You know what I'm saying? Don Lemon, they about to go roast his behind. Yeah, facts. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Task CEO of 2 a.m. What's good with it? Facts. See, we got the CEO of 2 a.m. in the building. So I ain't trying to hear no excuses about how late it is. So how many of y'all are familiar with Poppy Harlow? I'm not, because I don't watch the news. But apparently whoever Poppy Harlow is, she left the CNN set after a tense exchange with Don Lemon. Now, you see Don Lemon's got to be upset because he's got his hands on his hips. Now, wait a minute. Okay, let's see what happens here.
She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s. And
oh, man. Don Lemon took some pages out to Kevin Samuels' book, I see. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Uh-oh. He's talking about Nimrata Haley. Now, let me ask you guys a question. How many people know who Nimrata Haley is? If you know who Nimrata Haley is, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If you don't know who Nimrata Haley is, give me a thumbs down. Because, see, I think that Nimrata Haley should get in trouble for identity theft, because her name's not Nikki. Last time I checked, Nikki ain't a nickname for Nimrata. Last time I checked. Shout out to my man James Hudson. But Don Lemon got them hands on his hips. That means it's going down. I'm about to tell you ladies about how ladies are. He about to tell y'all ladies about how ladies are. Y'all like that pride.
She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait,
that's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look at
prime for what? Prime for what? How much you want to bet one of these chicks gonna say Don Lemon was trying to feel her up?
It up. If you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
You need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking?
See now look at. Pay attention to who sexualized the conversation. Pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Now, we all know that Don Lemon is a freak. You know what I'm saying? But pay attention to who sexualized the conversation. Are we talking about, like childbearing? So you see who turned the conversation sexual.
With that. So I think she has to be careful about.
And the thing is that what you got to understand about this kind of situation is that it doesn't matter what happened versus what didn't happen. Jared said Donna Lemonade is a zesty sugar cane from my neck of the woods. Oh, we're gonna get into Don's zestiness in a minute. We gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. Yeah, I agree. If you guys agree with Prince Majestic, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs out. Donnie Lemonade is about to get his N-word wake-up call, and I love every minute of it. Yeah, man, he's about to get it. He's definitely about to get it. He's about to yo, hold on, I got you, Carlton. Don, your LGBTQ status will not help you when going up against a white woman. You're still black. Big facts. Tasha Peter said he about to get the big payback. Dun, 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 doo. He about to get the big payback. You know what I'm saying? He is. And he's going to learn the hard way that this is a man's world. And it's nothing without being accused of groping a woman or a girl.
Saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
You need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking about prime for being president?
What the facts are.
So now, right here is saying things got awkward on the set of CNN this morning after host Don Lemon suggested that 2024 presidential candidate Nimrata Haley wasn't in her prime as a woman. Okay, so check this out, right? I'm old as hell. I'm a old Negro. I'm not old enough to be like considered the civil rights era, but I'm still old. Guess what? You know what I'm saying? I'm not in my prime anymore. Like if I wanted to try to start a career as an athlete, as a basketball player or an MMA fighter or a football player, guess what? I couldn't successfully do that. But man, pay very close attention to how when you drop some facts like that, speaking biologically or psychologically, when it comes to the capabilities of a woman, you got everybody on your back. You got everybody on your back. Oh, I'm sure there's a whole video. Yeah, that's the name. Shout out to Prince. Nimrata Nikki Randhawa Haley is Kamala Harris's people. Yeah, in fact, she is. This is a woman that said that racism didn't exist, but she got a book deal writing about her experience as a little brown girl, if I'm not mistaken, in South Carolina. Yeah, I think that dude's name is either Justin or Dustin Heiss. You know what I'm saying? Don Lemon still has that sexual harassment lawsuit. He apparently got too handsy with that white bartender. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're trying to jam him up. I believe they were told to start doing that to him. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure. And usually, you know how Don Lemon is. He's not going to stop You know, he's not going to complain about anybody jamming anything up anywhere. But, you know, in this situation, when it comes to his career, I think he's starting to get a little bit tight. You know what I'm saying about this? You know what I'm saying? So now here it says it prompted co-host Poppy Harlow and Caitlin Collins to push back and question Prime for what? So I'm sure that Poppy Harlow and Caitlin Collins have different orders of what they're supposed to be doing during these news segments than Lemonade here. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure what their objectives are is to make him look as bad as possible and to humiliate him at every turn. And he just thinks that it's business as usual, but it's not. It's actually WS business as usual. And he's gotten his back broken, you know what I'm saying, like Brokeback Mountain, so many times he doesn't realize that he's a tool about to be broken. I guess that's what happens when you get worn out. You know what I'm saying? When you get worn out, you really don't feel things tearing and stretching and, you know what I'm saying, becoming awkward. But unfortunately, when you become numb to those kind of things because of your personal practices, when it's actually happening and you're about to become a victim of it, you just let it slide. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's going on with Don. So now here it says the Uncomfortable Exchange had some on Twitter slamming Don Lemon's recent string of air bungles. All right. So I don't know what an air bungle is, but apparently Don Lemon has had a recent string of them. And we're actually going to talk about an older one because I don't know if you guys were familiar. Did you all see there was a exchange that happened with Don Lemon and another woman, and it was about a conversation about the validity of Kamala Harris's quote unquote blackness. Okay. We're going to talk about that as well. So real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed that like button, please make sure that you guys smash that like button. And also remember, make sure that you guys watch the stream all the way through to the end. It's going to take you into the premiere window for the stream that we got going down tomorrow night at 12:55 that you are not going to miss. Or that you're not going to want to miss. You might miss it. I can't tell you if you're going to miss it or not. You might not want to miss it. It's actually some good stuff. Shout out to Mike Mellis, John B1. So now this person right here, Clay Travis, says Don Lemon's political research for his show is literally, by his own words, Googling when is a woman in her prime and then taking whatever he reads as a fact. Simply remarkable. That's interesting. He's also lashing out and taking digs at his co-host because he's bitter that he got demoted to having co-hosts. What do you guys think about that? So now the thing is that we know is that when it comes to any black male, right, which I don't understand why Don Lemon doesn't understand that he's a black male first, not LGBTQ first, but whatever. The world sees you as a black man first. It don't matter if you LGBTQ or not. You're going to always be the target of an attack until we get to the point where we can start attacking and picking on people and making examples out of people so they stay back. You know what I'm saying? But Don Lemon don't want to be a part of that. What Don Lemon wants to be a part of is he wants to be a part of the machine. And as long as the machine is working good for him, then it's okay. You know what I'm saying? He can down talk anybody else that he wants to. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. And Don Lemon is finding out the hard way that the world is correct. When you contribute to a machine to give it strength, and then that machine turns around and flips on you, what you're experiencing is the world being correct. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Don Lemon's quote unquote sexist rant about Nikki Haley on Thursday turned the stomachs of his co-anchors and added pressure on CNN boss Chris Licht to dump the acid-tongued host, the Post has learned. So now they're turning up the pressure on Chris Licht to dump Don Lemon. Yeah, I agree. If you guys agree with Tasha, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Tasha says it's a pile-on at this point. They're just saying anything. It's karma. And I agree 110%. You know what I'm saying? And listen, man, it didn't look like Poppy Harlow was furious. So if you look like this, if this is the look of ferocity, if this is the look of you being enraged and angry, this is one of the reasons why you got to side eye certain people, because that definitely doesn't look like an enraged look. She walked off the CNN morning set following a tense exchange with Lemon after he said the GOP presidential candidate was not in her prime, according to sources with knowledge of the situation. One of the sources said Harlow took a well-timed bathroom break and was followed into the restroom by co-host Caitlin Collins, who recently had her own run-in with Lemon. The tense relationship among Lemon, Collins, and Harlow has been smoldering for months, the source added. A CNN insider said the latest high-profile incident may finally lead like squeezing out Lemon from the morning gig, which that's not what's going to get Don Lemon out of there. The fact that they've been wanting to get Don Lemon out of there is what the issue is. And the thing is that these people are not slick, right? Like, what I find fascinating is that when it comes to Fox News, they have been more racist and more sexist towards Ketanji Brown Jackson, towards Kamala Harris, and anybody that appears to be black, especially a female. You know what I'm saying? They say some really disgusting things about Karine Jean-Pierre. And, you know, Kamala Harris, Ketanji Brown Jackson, or Karine Jean-Pierre are not any of my favorite people. However, they are still black women. And just because they choose not to address or act like they're being attacked in a racist fashion by the colonizing cretins on Fox News, we can still observe it and talk about it, because they do. You know what I'm saying? And I got to agree with Tass. I knew that casting wasn't going to work. Big facts. And if you ask me, that's one of the reasons why they put that crew together, because they knew that that crew would accelerate flaring Don Lemon up like a hemorrhoid, you know what I'm saying, and running him out of CNN like blood down a bleeding rectum. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the reasons why that happened. Shout out to my man Deformed Pretty Boy, and shout out to Don P. What up with it? So that's what we got. That's what we got. So this is the face of outrage right here. So just pay very close attention. Like, this is the face of outrage. I guess this is a mean girl face. I guess this is the frenemy face. You know what I'm saying? I guess. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Chris isn't happy, and he has spoken to Don a couple times today, the network source said. Don knows it can't happen again. So apparently, according to this source, which we don't know who the source is, Don Lemon is on his last squeeze. You know what I'm saying? Before he's finally juiced. You know what I'm saying? Before he's finally juiced. Now, here's the thing, right? Prince Majestic said they put a black man in the middle of two Karens. Yikes. These two are actually indeed Karens. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you get a situation like, TJ Holmes and Amy Roebuck. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you get a situation like old boy from the New York Giants and whatever that chick's name was, the little anorexic chick that fell in love with him, and they had a violent, dissolving of the show. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes shit like that happens. Sometimes shit like this happens. A lot of times what you see is shit like this happen, where they'll weaponize these people. You know what I'm saying? They'll weaponize these people against a black person, use these people to get America to go against, or just to have a natural hatred towards the black person, and then use the court of public opinions to usher them on out of the position and put whoever it is that they want to. So now CNN is at the bottom of the dumpster chute, waiting for any feces to come rolling down the intestines of Fox News out of the dumpster into their mouth so they can scoop them up for a replacement on the show. Because we all know that the news media outlets, regardless if it's ABC, if it's NBC, if it's CBS, regardless of who it is, they're all moving in the same direction that the United States is moving in. And that's even more of an anti-black baseline sentiment. You know what I'm saying? So they made lots of money off of having Don Lemon on there for a long time. And now one of the things that they got to do is they got to get rid of him in order to appease the public. You know what I'm saying? They're going to look at this as a culture war win, and that's what they're going to tout it as. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man DSB. What's good with it? And shout out to Emmanuel Carey. Emmanuel Carey said, and shout out to Jared for answering the Nightbot. Emmanuel says Charles Barkley is going to be on CNN, right? He was on CNN before when he was giving everybody the insights about what goes on inside the black community. You know, the inside the black community. You know, no one has it harder than the LGBTQ community when it comes to being inside the black community, according to Charles Barkley. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. IME and Nia Long was drugged through the mud, but what about the Celtics? They protected the white woman. Yeah, and she was married. Neither one of Nia and the other guy weren't married, but she was actually married, and I bet you nobody even knows her name. So she cheated, just like Amy Roebuck. I don't have no problem with Amy Roebuck and TJ Holmes messing around. I got a problem with the fact that they both broke their marriage vows. You know what I'm saying? If you're in a marriage, you should respect your husband or your wife, and neither one of them did. You know what I'm saying? But let's not get it twisted. Amy Roebuck is older, you know what I'm saying, than TJ. She's older than him, and yet they got it up there like TJ was grooming her. You know what I'm saying? In any other situation, if it's somebody that's older, they always say that the older person is the one doing the grooming. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Cher and Amber Rose's baby dad. Cher is being celebrated for being with a dude that's like damn near 30 years younger than her. You know what I'm saying? Now, when they break up, somehow I guarantee you they're going to dig and go back into that dude's past and say he's this and he's that, and the failed relationship with him and Amber Rose, the failed relationship with him and Amber Rose, the failed relationship with him and Amber Rose. Okay, wait a minute. What about this old, dried up, wrinkled vampire? You know what I'm saying? That's been sleeping in a casket for 1,000 years and woke up and decided that she wanted some BBC. What about that? You know what I'm saying? But we're not going to say anything about that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kufu Chuck is LGBTQ. Big facts. Big facts. This is fact-based content right here. You know what I'm saying? This is fact-based content right here. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's just the reality of it. And the court of public opinion is right on cue with it. So like, man, if you moving like that, man, you just got to be careful with how you move. You just got to be careful with how you move. You know what I'm saying? You got to know to pull the ripcord and be out. And see, like, Don Lemon is still trying to hang around like he can't find another job or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why a lot of these people, they don't just turn on StreamYards and go live. People will watch you. It's people that really fuck with Don Lemon. I don't, but there's people that do. I said the same thing about Tiffany Cross. Shout out to Black Queen Genius. What up with it? B1. And appreciate you, James. I said the same thing about Tiffany Cross. I'm not a fan of Tiffany Cross. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, though, we had said pay attention to how they're going to break her down. You know what I'm saying? They broke her down. And, yo, it's people out there that rock with Tiffany Cross. Some of this, if you sat there and said that everything that Tiffany Cross said was incorrect, it's not. Tiffany Cross just she's an extreme feminist. She's very misandrous. You know what I mean? But aside from her misandry and aside from her feminism, a lot of the stuff that she says, like, is you know what I'm saying? Like, she says some real shit at times. That's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? The people that rock with her are going to rock with her. It's not the end of the world because these white media companies won't hire you. You know what I'm saying? Go buy a StreamYards account and stream. Do it independently. I don't understand why these people act like they're not capable of starting their own platform. I just don't get it. And I agree, Prince. She absolutely does hate black men, but I think that's a requirement for anybody who gets camera time when it comes to the white media. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the white media, like Joe Biden said, if you don't hate black men, you ain't with us. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, during an informal meeting Thursday, dubbed Coffee with Chris, 30 staffers peppered Light with questions about the ratings challenged network. One asked about Lemon's comments about the 51-year-old Haley, according to a source with knowledge. Now, I want you guys to also pay attention to this, right? Pay attention to this, all right? Do y'all remember when Kamala Harris first came out? And again, I'm not a fan of Kamala Harris, but I just want y'all to peep game. Look at how everybody attacked Kamala Harris, right? About the fact that she's not black. Why ain't nobody attacking Nikki? It's only one person that attacked Nikki Haley about not being white, and it was Ann Coulter. You know what I'm saying? The woman that was see, the woman that was dating Jimmy Walker because he had that dynamite. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Walker was giving Ann Couture that dynamite. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, she the only one though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys saw the stream that I did on Blacklight Revelations news reviews and reactions, but we did a long article review where we were talking about Nikki Haley and her past. And listen, man, I was not impressed with Nikki Haley when she was the UN ambassador for the United States. Sergei Lavrov made her look really dumb a lot of times during those issues that we were having back in the Trump administration with Syria. Blowing that shit up. Yeah, they was having some good times. You know what I'm saying? They was having some good times. You know what I'm saying? But Ann Couture, she the only one. Now, I know a lot of y'all probably watch Harvey. You know what I'm saying? Superboy Your World. I love his channel, man. Shout out to the Your World channel on YouTube. He put his video up about this, and Harvey is always on it, man. Like literally instantaneously when something happens, like he be on it like that. The video drops. It's like some shit happened within 15 seconds. Harvey got a video about the shit. It's like, God damn, bro, yo, response time to things going on in the media is impeccable. You know what I'm saying? But he put a video out about this, and I agree with his commentary, man. I've been talking about Nikki Haley for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Torian Rain. If y'all not subscribed to Torian's channel, make sure y'all check him out. Yeah, we talking about Donna. We talking about Diva Lemon. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Harvey be going in, man. Harvey be going in, and that's and that brother has some knowledge. He been around the block. You know what I'm saying? You could tell. You know what I'm saying? He's seen the world. He been through some things. You know what I'm saying? You could tell he coming from a place of love from his heart. You know what I'm saying? I rock with Harvey. You know what I'm saying? So now here says people say stupid things, and if that's a trend, then there's recourse. The source said, paraphrasing likes comments. You know what else I like about Harvey? One thing that I like about Harvey is very open-minded, and Harvey is not afraid to say things that people may not welcome. He's not afraid to say his opinion on something and explain why he feels that way, even if it's an opinion that people may push back on. That takes a lot of integrity, and that takes a lot of honesty, and that takes a lot of courage. And there's not a lot of people that have that in today's world. So that's another reason why I like Harvey's content. You know what I'm saying? I've shouted Harvey out before, but you know what I'm saying? That's some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Faith and Lighten. So now here it says CNN did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Lemon didn't respond to a request for comment either. Harlow did not comment, but a source close to the veteran anchor quipped, as a woman in her prime, Poppy Harlow does use the bathroom, including on Thursday mornings. And I don't know. I guess that's a comment where, like, I guess they just wrecked Don Lemon's narrative. I have no idea. You know how like somebody will say something that's completely unrelated and it's like, yeah, we just wrecked the libs. And it's like, you didn't even address what was said, but okay. So now here it says Collins didn't return requests for a comment. Harlow, who is 40, came back to finish Thursday's program, but had a stunned look on air when Lemon went on his head-scratching diatribe over Haley, calling for mental competency tests for politicians over the age of 75. Now, here's my question for Don Lemon. Where Don Lemon may have left himself open for criticism on this is when Nancy Pelosi was pushing for that bill of where they could do the mental competency evaluations. When Trump was in office, did Don Lemon push back on that? Because let's just keep it a buck. And I don't even think that this Karen right here would get upset with me if I said this. But, man, we all know that Nancy Pelosi, she way out of her prime. She's way out of her prime. She's shriveled up and about to fall off the damn tree. You know what I'm saying? So if Don Lemon didn't say anything about it then, you know what I'm saying, you got to ask, okay, you saying something about it now, though. So now here it says, this whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable. So there it is. 56-year-old Lemon began. And the talk about age probably makes Don Lemon uncomfortable because he's 56 years old. But I don't know what's going on with Don Lemon. I don't know if he'd be getting those exfoliants and all of that, you know, the makeup and, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff. But, I mean, Don Lemon don't look old. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what you're tripping about age for, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, you know, politicians are suddenly not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. To the bewilderment of Harlow and Collins, Lemon then said a woman is considered to be in their prime in the 20s and 30s and maybe the 40s. Harlow immediately called out the failed primetime host. What are you talking about? Wait, prime for what? So now I want you guys to pay attention to the way the media writes this and throws in little things to try to get people to believe it. This is that stuff that Professor Black Truth be talking about when the media just tags on little things like the failed, or we've seen the decline of, or the embattled or the ashamed host, right? They're saying that Don Lemon is a failed primetime host. Let me ask you guys a question. Is Don Lemon a failed primetime host? I don't like Don Lemon. I don't support Don Lemon, and I don't watch Don Lemon. But one thing that I do know about Don Lemon is that he was one of the faces of CNN for a long time. Like Don Lemon, Larry King Live. Who was the other? Was the name Stephen Cooper or something like that? All of those people, those were the faces of CNN. But this is what he gets. If that lady is East Indian, I'm Vietnamese. So now here it says Lemon quickly tried to save himself. Save yourself, black man, by claiming he wasn't stating his personal beliefs. That's not according to me, he said. It's like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when a woman is in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. So now when we watched that video earlier, the video was upset that Anderson Cooper, that's his name. Good looking out, Torian. And Stephen Colbert, yeah. And Stephen Colbert, I don't know if you guys saw the last video I did about Don. Stephen Colbert was going in on Don Lemon. So, again, what they're doing is they're setting up this snowball of media nonsense in order to attempt to legitimize the bullshit that they're saying about Don Lemon, because Don Lemon hasn't changed. Don Lemon is Don Lemon. Don Lemon's always been awkward. Don Lemon's always been rude. Don Lemon's always been grabby. Don Lemon's always been weird. Don Lemon's always been just out of pocket. He's always been all of these things. But since now what we want to do is we want to move CNN in a certain direction, we're going to get Don Lemon out of there, and we're going to use getting Don Lemon out of there as a win for the white culture war. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man, TD Hip Hop Media. If you're not subscribed to TD Hip Hop Media's channel, make sure that you guys do. Don Lemon don't look nowhere near 56. Nah, he don't. You know what I'm saying? He don't look nowhere near it. So they're coming for him, like Tasha says, and like they don't even realize it. Now, here's my question, right? You know how, like, when it comes to a mixed person, white people always want to educate black people about who's black, which shows their obsession about race. Their race hustling. You know what I'm saying? How come nobody is talking about Nikki Haley's past, Nikki Haley's origins, where she came from? How come nobody's talking about her social justice book, about when she was in the South and she was the little brown girl that nobody would play with? How come nobody's talking about that? And how come nobody's talking about the fact that her father used to teach at a historically black college? Is it because they're too dumb? Is it because those good journalists over there at Fox, like Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham, haven't done any research? Because the information is out there. Her father was a teacher at a historically black college. Another L for historically black colleges. You know what I'm saying? But Ann Coulter put her in her place. You know what I'm saying? And I guarantee you she's not, and I agree with Harvey's commentary on that. She's not going to say anything back to Ann Coulter at all. She's not going to say one word. She's going to sit there like a good little girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man, I don't like Nikki Haley. I never have. I don't like Nikki Haley. I'm going to just put it that way. I'm going to leave what I was about to say alone. I don't like Nikki Haley. If I'm not mistaken, there was a black politician, and shout out to everybody answering the Nightbot. There was a black politician that she told to go back to Africa, which is why I don't have no issue with Ann Coulter dropping that dynamite on her and telling her to do the same that she told somebody else to do. TD says white supremacy always breaks its tools, and that's why we have no friends. That's why we have no friends. You know what I'm saying? That's right. That's right. Shout out to Dr. John Henry Clark. You know what I'm saying? I sound like Jim Clyburn. I sounded like Jimmy Clyburn. Prince Majestic, I'm just sitting here trying to do my stream. I don't know why you come down here fucking with me. I don't know why you fucking with me. I'm just trying to do my stream in peace now. Now, if you want some extra fish sticks, stay over there around the corner over there. I ain't trying to do nothing but stream. Here y'all come. So now here it says, he continued, I'm just saying Nikki Haley should be careful about saying that politicians are not in their prime and they need to be in their prime when they serve, because she wouldn't be in her prime according to, Google. So I just want you guys to understand this, right? Nikki Haley is an establishment Republican. Okay? She is an establishment Republican. Just like Ron DeSantis is an establishment Republican. That means that Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley and Joe Biden are all on the same side. Because when it comes to establishment Democrats or establishment Republicans, they put on a facade, right? They put on a facade of actually acting like left-wing or right-wing politicians when they actually work for the neocons. You know what I'm saying? They are actually the political representation of corporate interests and big money in the United States. They don't represent any group of people, but they'll say whatever is necessary to whatever people will listen in order to get their support. Anything that you can think of that you have an issue with, Nikki Haley supports it. Okay? Just understand that about Nikki Haley. She's going to be running for president in the upcoming election. And I'm going to be doing a stream about her and how much money she's raised very soon. But her and Ron DeSantis, they've raised a lot of money. Yeah, he do look like a deformed Rocksteady. Nikki looked like Bebop. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the reference I made to a woman's prime this morning was inartful and irrelevant, as colleagues and loved ones has pointed out, and I regret it. Lemon tweeted. So, I mean, it took less than 15 minutes for Don Lemon to start apologizing. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. A woman's age doesn't define her either personality or professionally. I have countless women in my life who prove that every day. Like who? Name them. I don't think you have very many women in your life. You know what I'm saying? I know you surround yourself with a bunch of greasy men, but I don't think you have countless women in your life to prove your point. And age does define people. I'm an adult. There's no product that I can buy that I can't buy because I'm an adult. You know what I'm saying? I'm mature. You know what I'm saying? There are certain things in this country that I'm allowed to do because of my age. Psychology breaks people down in life stages by their age range. Demographics breaks you down by your age range. Life insurance policies break you down by your age range. You know what I'm saying? I'm kicking new flavor in your ear. Got a brand new flavor in your ear. Don't be mad. OnlyFans is hiring. So Don Lemon apologized like a sucker. You know what I'm saying? Because he literally does suck. This ongoing situation is frustrating, a source with knowledge said, referring to Lemon's attitude on set. His comments were misogynistic and sexist. Oh, he's misogynistic and sexist. So we can add Don Lemon to the Kyrie Irvings and the Kanye Wests of the world, with black men being the new face of white supremacy, which is what the mainstream media's objective is. Because that's one of the ways that you can say that racism doesn't exist as well. If you have a group of people who have been discriminated against, and those very group of people are practicing, quote unquote, what people say are the discriminatory practices of the people who practiced it against us, that's another way that they can attempt to say that racism doesn't exist. You saw them use that same lame brain, low IQ, low impulse control, no accountability ridden explanation when the black police officers killed Tyree Nichols. This is a tactic. This is what they do. The only thing that people should be doing is understanding how to deal with these people. Because when the election for 2024 comes, you're going to see commercials that are going to, they're going to have commercials saying, would you like to do this in your area? And they'll have a black family hanging from a tree. You know what I'm saying? And it's just going to be publicly accepted. And the people that will be the most accepting of it, in most cases, probably will not be white people. In most cases, it will be Asians and Latinos who want to experience some of that good American dream. They see the rewards that white people have reaped from anti-black racism in this country, and they see that white people are willing to open the door for them to reap those benefits as well, as long as it comes with ethnic and cultural genocide, as well as murder and harm to black people. So they're like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm voting for this. Ron DeSantis and all them, Nikki Haley, they're all about it. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but if you guys read Nikki Haley's book, Nikki Haley talks about how her parents tell her specifically to stay away from black people. Do not get mixed up with black people. That's what Nimrata Haley's, or I should say Nimrata Rand Howie's parents told her while her father was working at a HBCU as a professor. So tell the daughter to stay away from black people while I sit here and suck down money at a HBCU like it's a big gulp from the corner store. This is one of the reasons why one thing that people got to stop doing, man. We cannot, this is my opinion, we cannot call out a bunch of people for buck dancing and soft shoeing and cooning and all of this other stuff if we're going to sit here and act as if we have some sort of expectation for these other groups of people to show any kind of humane attributes. We have to treat the inhumane like they're inhumane. which means no expectations other than failure and only reactive, you know what I'm saying, when they attempt to do harm. And also proactively protecting ourselves in every way. That's the only thing that we can do. There's no negotiations. You can't go to the table with these people. You can't bring history into the conversation because it's clear history doesn't matter. Now, the reason why Ron DeSantis said that Black history has no educational value is because Black history for white people and for immigrants coming into the country, it doesn't have educational value. If our history substantiates a claim for reparations, that means that it has negative value to white supremacy, because if our history substantiates reparations and we can use our history to present a claim where we would get reparations, that's causing a negative effect to white supremacy. That's not causing a positive effect. That's not helping. That's causing a negative effect. So if it's causing a negative effect to the people that they want to be here, then he's right. For them, I'm not talking to you Black people, to the people that I am talking to the groups of people that I look at as human because I'm a degenerate, it has no educational value. Because it can't possibly have value if the teaching of this is going to substantiate you having to pay back your wealth that you earned unfairly. That means that it has negative value. Black history has negative equity in this country because Black history is a promissory note. And when that promissory note gets presented, now we got to start talking about payback. And, well, you hear how they feel about taxpayers, but nobody cares about Joe Biden paying Ukrainian pensions. And that's because these people don't need their Social Security anyway. That's just something to complain about, to feel falsely oppressed. You know what I'm saying? There's only a couple groups of people here in the United States that need their Social Security. Most people consider SSI and Social Security a handout anyway, because anything is a handout, according to these high IQ people here in the United States. You know what I'm saying? And clearly I'm being sarcastic. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys understand what I'm saying when I go on that rant there, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't understand what I'm saying, give me a thumbs down. If I presented information to you and I said, hey, your family stole about $100,000 from my family when I was young. Here's all the invoices. Here's all the receipts. Here's the items that were stole. That's not going to have any value to you. That's going to have negative value because now I've presented evidence that you stole from me. And if you have benefited from your family's wealth that you stole, now you're going to have to pay me a percentage. So that doesn't have any value. That has a negative value. That's negative equity. It's risk. You know what I'm saying? So when Ron DeSantis says that, he's dog whistling. He's dog whistling to the other people in the United States, to those of value. See, do you know how they call these other people people of color? They're not people of color. We're talking about white people with a tan. What we need to start calling them is others of value. Others of value. Black people are the PONV, the people of no value in the United States. And that's what we need to start calling ourselves. Not that we believe it, but in order to identify the unjust system of the United States. We are people of no value. But when it comes to everybody else, who everybody else is talking about or talking to or trying to appease with their politics, those are people of value. Asians are people of value. You know what I'm saying? Latinos are people of value. Coons in a certain capacity and African immigrants who are off code are people of value until they feel like breaking them. Black Americans who descend from the plantations, we are not. This entire country is set up to constantly have us where we are and to always have us to be the face of anything bad in the country. So people who come into the country can never look at this way that the country is and how unfair it is. They always have the focus on you, which is why one of the things that we have to do as far as our media is we have to put the focus back on everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the people of No Value family. So now this is how these people change sides. A prominent liberal women's rights group defends Nikki Haley. They defend neocon Republican Nikki Haley. So this is why when people bring that political nonsense, they doing that political gangbang, and you want to tell me about liberals and you want to tell me about conservatives and all this nonsense, they all on the same side. What are you talking about? Prominent Karen rights group defends Nikki Haley from Don Lemon's misogyny and racism. You know that's what they want to say. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed that like button, please make sure that you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice, all right? And also, please share the video out to your social media. It helps spread the message because the other social medias will move the content around. YouTube will not. You know what I'm saying? Ultraviolet Director of Communications Bridget Todd claimed Lemon's comments were egregiously sexist. Okay, so let's check this out real quick.
Nikki Haley has called for politicians.
So now, real quick, now you know that Mr. Dim Folks, Bill Maher, is going to be one of the ones that's the first person to say it. He's going to be all over this. You know what I'm saying? And see, and goofy moves, people moving goofy are what make people like Bill Maher and DJ Vlad who they are. Bill Maher is the DJ Vlad, the human with whiskers of politics. You know what I'm saying?
Over 75 years old to be required to take a mental health competency test. I wonder who that's aimed at. Both of them, right?
I think it's both. I think she's trolling. It allows her to draw attention to Biden. She's in a Republican primary, but it's a subtle hit on Trump. They're both older politicians. They have every right to run.
I think this guy is actually being honest right here. I think he's right. I think that is a hit on Trump as well, because I don't know if you guys saw that live stream that I did on Blacklight Revelations News Reviews and Reactions, but we talked about how Nikki Haley is a snake and how Nikki Haley even stabbed Trump in the back at every opportunity that she got. Do you guys remember that? If you guys remember that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, give me a thumbs down. So Nikki Haley, I do believe that she is talking about Trump as well, in addition to Biden when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying?
The competency test is a really long campaign, and people will assess how they seem.
But shouldn't we do that for everybody? Why just over 75? Because, over here, my 35-year-old
House of Representatives.
Right. Well, I mean, there's only one age requirement. The Constitution has a minimum age, and that was because they were so worried about people passing things on to their famous sons at the time.
The Constitution was worried about generational wealth, is what he's saying. At the time when the Constitution was written, were black people able to pass anything on to their quote-unquote sons, as we say? This is a very good segue. Let me know in the comment section. When the Constitution was written, were black people able to pass anything on to their quote-unquote sons? Now, here's my question. During that time of that Constitution writing, is there anybody who descended from those families that's still alive today? I know for a fact there are, because I went to school with a black descendant of Thomas Jefferson, who, by the way, didn't get shit from Thomas Jefferson.
To their famous sons at the time. There's no maximum age, but we have that for pilots and other things. But again, I think it's hard. If you've covered these things, you know how it is. It's hard to run for president. We're going to see how they do. And then you're going to decide at the debates and other forums whether they seem like they got it.
Well, and as Don Lemon told us on CNN, women actually can't run for president because he said we're past our prime once we get to our 40s. But since you have to be 35 to run, it's like this really tight window between 35 and 40.
Oh, she's outraged. Can you guys put some Karen tears in the comment section for how outraged she is? Oh, look at this. Look at this. See, this is one of the reasons why I tell people not to apologize. Do you see what it said here? Don Lemon issued a groveling apologize. A groveling apology. What's the point of apologizing when they're gonna sit there and talk about you like that, talk to you like that? So, like, this is the thing that I'm saying. Goofy moves. People are moving goofy. You know what I'm saying? And as long as people continue to move goofy, as long as people want to continue supporting goofy movements, we're gonna get goofy results. People need to start hardline pushing back on certain things. Shout out to JB Easy. What's good with it, bro? People need to start hardline pushing back on things. Do not let the media or the population at large or your coworker or your next door neighbor tell you who you are or what you think ever. That's one thing, if you ask me, in my opinion, that has been going on for a very long time that needs to come to an abrupt airbag deploying, neck injuring stop. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says major women's advocacy group Ultraviolet has called on CNN to suspend Don Lemon after his comments on GOP presidential candidate Nikki Haley's age. Now, let me ask you guys a question. What caused more harm? Don Lemon and his comments about Nikki Haley, or Dana White slapping the dog shit out of his wife? Which one caused more harm? Me personally, if I was a women's advocates group, sure, I might have something to say about somebody making a comment that women could find offensive, but I would be more concerned with somebody who is allowed to domestically abuse their female partner on camera and have no consequences for it. No legal consequences, no employment consequences, no consequences whatsoever, not even a media flogging. To me, that right there substantiates and encourages a culture of domestic violence. Most times, many times, domestic violence leads to a terminal relationship, which means it often leads to a woman being killed by her abusive partner. But what's more important is to make sure we get Don Lemon up out of the paint. That's how you know that there's no ethics, no value, no standard for this WS system, which is one of the reasons why that has to be exploited. People need to be talking about this all the time. And it doesn't matter how many people act like they don't understand English. You know what I'm saying? These things need to be put in the forefront. You know what I'm saying? And I got to agree with Mike. Quite sure Dana White did more damage. Yeah, me too. Faith and Lighten says Dana, but both were wrong. I agree. But in the white supremacist criminal justice system, we have degrees of different kind of crimes, right? We have a felony, we have a misdemeanor. So, I mean, a misdemeanor, Don Lemon saying some hurtful comments, which, if you ask me, I honestly don't think there was anything wrong with what Don Lemon said. But if you have a misdemeanor of hurtful comments versus assault, where you're attacked on camera, I'm pretty sure the attack on camera would be a felony. So that should still put more focus and more consequences on Dana White. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Terrence Jackson. What's good with it, bro? Yeah, I think Donna has just earned his PPP segment. Of course, the rap. Yeah. Hell yeah. What Dana White did to his wife was a straight bitch move. That's not a man. That's a bully. Facts. But the thing is that the other culture, the majority culture here in the United States, they must see that as manhood, right? They have to, because if you guys recall, when Stephen A. Smith, who I don't recall Dana White ever mentioning ever, was talking about how good of friends he is with Dana White and all of that. That other, who is that, Molly Curium or something like that, who's on ESPN, she said that Dana White is a leader of men. I don't know what men Dana White leads, but I guess he's a leader of men. And shout out to Tarek. What's good with it, bro? So if he's a leader of men, you know, when he does something that's not favorable or doesn't look like it's something that would make a good leadership quality, he's supposed to be scrutinized, right? So clearly, since there was no scrutiny, that is what they uphold as manhood. You know what I'm saying? when a particular kind of man does it. So now another thing is athletes get called out of their prime all the time. And this is that bullshit. This is that shit I'm tired of. How many times have people said, oh, you know, Michael Jordan, when he was playing for the Bullets, he was out of his prime. You know what I'm saying? Rampage Jackson, when he got knocked out by Shogun, he was out of his prime. So it's just okay for motherfuckers to go around saying that men are out of their prime and nobody says anything. Like, we actually accept it. Yeah, you know, this person's been knocked out a bunch of times. This person's taken XYZ hits to their head. This person's at this age range. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. Yeah, they out of their prime. I just said earlier in the stream, I'm out of my prime. I couldn't go and start an athletic career if I wanted to. I couldn't start a rap career if I wanted to. I'm way out of my prime. But now if you say that an old MILF, an old hag is out of her prime, something's wrong with you. You're a misogynist. Some men have to go get Viagra. Clearly, they're out of their prime because their biology is not working the way that it was when they were younger. When you're in your prime, that is simply an age range that means that all of your systems are working at their optimal capacity. It doesn't mean anything more or less. It is not our job to appease female emotions if we're not in a relationship with that woman. You know what I'm saying? There's an age range for people in Hollywood, whether it's men versus whether it's women. A car is in a prime, you know what I'm saying, when you first buy it, when it's within the warranty period. They don't call it a prime for a car. They call it a warranty period. After the warranty period, the car is out of its prime. But women are just these dainty little creatures that cannot be criticized. They're immune from any kind of biological consequences that anybody else has to deal with. I don't understand that. And I'm sorry, but me personally, I am never going to substantiate that delusion. Women, as wonderful and amazing as they are only human. You know what I'm saying? They're only human. And that's it. And humans have a prime. People have a cognitive prime. People have a physical athletic prime. People have a sexual prime. People have primes. You know what I'm saying? Now, when is the last time people got called misandrous for saying that a male athlete, especially a black male athlete, was out of his prime? Does anybody know? Can anybody give me a date, episode, time, network, TV show, or internet podcast or post where that happened? When Magic Johnson came back into the NBA, did anybody call it misandrous that people were questioning whether he would be out of his prime and whether he would be able to perform? As old as LeBron James is getting, as many times as the question is posed, is he out of his prime? Has anybody ever asked that question? Hey, what's up with this misandry here? Nobody's ever said that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's ever said that. That Greta Thunberg chick told Andrew Tate that he had small dick energy. That's not only misandry, but that's body shaming as well. But everybody celebrated that. Everybody celebrated that. You know what I'm saying? Faye says, Don Lemon is finding out now he's a pawn too. Yeah, he's a part of the agenda. So he thought he was safe from scrutiny, but he's seeing he's still black and the LGBTQ agenda can't save him from his blackness. Man, Faith, absolutely. Absolutely. If you guys agree with what Faith Enlightened says, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. So now here it says ultraviolet director of communications, Bridget Todd slammed the CNN This Morning anchor's claims that Haley is past her prime age to run for office as egregiously sexist and urged the network to immediately suspend him from political coverage indefinitely. So now you see what the agenda is. You guys see what the agenda is, right? And this is what I go back and watch all the video, any video that I got on any of my channels with a Don Lemon thumbnail on it, watch it. If it shows up in your recommends, watch it. I've been saying the same thing for a long time. So now here it says the group, which also advocates for abortion rights and disrupting the patriarchy, put out a statement containing Todd's comments on its website Friday. So now, isn't this interesting? This shows you all of that liberal stuff, right? This is clearly a liberal feminist group. But when it's time to go in on Don Lemon, we form like Voltron. So if this isn't proof right here that none of these political parties are for anybody black, give me a thumbs up. If I'm wrong and it shows something other than that, then please inform me and educate me as to what it shows, because clearly I'm not seeing something that everybody else is. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed that like button, please make sure you guys take a moment and smash that like button. Greta is a one-eyed graphite oxide dummy. Big facts. Super facts. Looking like the Toxic Avenger. You know what I'm saying? Now misogyny that. So now here it says, additionally, Todd hammered Lemon's cavalier apology for the remarks and also advised the network to continue to monitor Lemon's behavior for any future gender bias. So Don Lemon needs to be policed. Don Lemon needs to be policed. This is that kind of thing where it's like, yo, don't put your hand on that stove because it's hot. I'll be okay. I'm going to put my hand on the stove anyway because I don't care. Oh, okay. It's hot, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? That shit burning your hand now, ain't it? And shout out to Jared and Faith for answering the Nightbot. So now here it says Ultraviolet's statement joins the chorus of backlash prompted by Lemon's recent comments about Haley. Other women's advocacy groups, including the Independent Women's Forum and Maggie's List, have also criticized Lemon for the comments, calling them a sexist attack, claiming that Lemon never would have made the remarks about a female Democratic Party politician. Well, if that's the case, then they're not sexist comments. If that's the case, then those comments were made clearly because she's a conservative. So they don't care. It's a sexist. So somehow a sexist attack is based on your political party. Do you see how when they attack you, their arguments forego logic? The only thing that these people have in their corner is numbers. It's not intelligence. It's not that they're making super amazing substantial points that can't be debunked and their logic is just ironclad. No, it's because they have numbers and an apparatus to repeat nonsense. That's all it is. And that's one of the reasons why I always say people need to stop cowering down to these people. Did you guys remember in the beginning of Pennywise when that little boy was crawling into the sewer towards Pennywise and Pennywise opened up his mouth real big and just bit his arm off and it was just a nub there and he was crying? That's what people need to start doing. Open your mouth up that big and bite these talking points off and rip them off until the spine is dangling. You know what I'm saying? Like Sub-Zero's finishing move on Mortal Kombat. Like, it's not that hard. It's really not. So now here it says Lemon's charged comments came during the Thursday broadcast of CNN This Morning, during which he responded to the 51-year-old Haley calling for politicians over 75 to undergo annual mental competency tests, as Fox News Digital reported on Friday. Lemon said Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. A woman is considered to be in their prime in their 20s, 30s, and maybe 40s. Elsewhere in the discussion, Lemon claimed, I'm just saying what the facts are. Google it. Everybody at home, when a woman is in her prime, it says 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I'm just saying Nikki Haley should be careful about saying that politicians are not in their prime, and they need to be in their prime when they serve. So now, again, when it comes to being in your prime is when all of your biological functions are operating at optimal capacity. That's what that means. This shows how stupid most Americans are. And you know what most Americans are. So what I'm going to do is I want to show you guys something real quick. There's a definition, and it says, what is a biological prime? How biological prime can help you boost your productivity. I'm telling you, your biological prime are when certain factors of your biology, like your blood pressure, your heartbeat, your respirations, all of your blood chemistry, like labs that you would see on a CMP or a BMP, when all of that stuff is working at peak optimal capacity. The time period from when optimal capacity starts to when the time period when optimal capacity ends, that is your prime. I don't know if you guys ever watched the Superman cartoon, but when the Superman cartoon came on, there was an episode where Brainiac made Supergirl. And when Brainiac made Supergirl, he made her as a Kryptonian female in her prime. And it happened to be when she was like 31 years old or something like that, because that was the time period chronologically of when all of her biological functions, memory, blood pressure, heart rate, pulse, everything was operating optimally. You know what I'm saying? Now, knowing that Don Lemon is LGBTQ, I'm pretty sure he wasn't talking about childbearing age. So why Poppy Harlow would bring up childbearing age to a LGBTQ man is beyond me. He's not concerned with childbearing age, so he's clearly not saying that to be misogynistic. He's not looking to pump and dump Nikki Haley and put some kids up in that and leave, despite the fact that that's what white people think that the only thing that black men can look at women and see is. You know what I'm saying? So that actually just shows the kind of perversion going on in those people's minds, despite the fact that we're talking about a whole pervert, because, you know what I'm saying, Don Lemon is a whole pervert, but you're being more perverted than the pervert. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, after outrage ensued, Lemon called into the network's Friday morning editorial meeting and provided apology. So again, this is one of the things that people got. As long as you work for these kind of companies, you'll have to apologize. Even if you work, even if you have a YouTube channel and the YouTube channel is monetized, you can start another YouTube channel, or you can try to fight and get your channel back if you lose your channel. But ultimately, in most cases, you're either going to have to go back on something that you said, or you may have to write some kind of letter, some kind of apology. Stop apologizing. Die on what you say. I would have told them, if I was Don Lemon, I can go anywhere and say worse things than this if I want to, and they'll pay me more. And that would have been the end of it. That would have been the end of it. And that would have been the end of that discussion too. It would have been on to the next. Because that's the whole point of any of this. It's not about whether it's right or wrong. It's about to make a spectacle out of somebody. That's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, though one CNN insider called it the most pathetic attempt at an apology I'd ever seen in my life. And when it comes to us offering any kind of apologies, because we're not white, it's always going to be seen as the most pathetic attempt at an apology, because what these people want is literally for people to get on their knees and lick boots and lick ass. And if that's not what's happening, then it's not an acceptable apology. And ain't nobody about to do that. So you may as well just double down on what you said and say or do something worse. This is what I'm talking about embracing villainy. Yeah, I said that she was outside of her prime. Do you want me to go on and say more of what I think about women like Nikki Haley? Because I can. I think Nikki Haley is a fraud because last time I checked, Nikki isn't a nickname for Nimrata. I think that you're a fraud. Because while everybody was going around talking about how Kamala Harris is Asian, nobody's talking about how Nikki Haley is Asian and how her father worked at a HBCU. Shout out to Deneen. What up with it, Deneen? Carlton Way says, sidebar, but I've noticed that black women do not apologize as much as black men. Do they not apologize as much as black men, or are they not in the situations where the focus isn't on them as much as black men? Because Whoopi Goldberg, she be apologizing. Beyonce, she apologized. Lizzo, she apologized. You know what I'm saying? Now, Tiffany Cross, I don't think she apologized. Tiffany Cross was like, fuck y'all. I don't think, did Tiffany Cross issue an apology? I don't think she did. What's that motherfucking name on that cartoon that Tariq made? Percy Miller or something like that? Tiffany Cross got in the car with Percy and we ain't heard back from her. So she ain't apologized for shit. Tiffany Cross snapped her fingers and moved her neck around and said, I meant what I said about chopping Florida off. Slammed the door in Percy's car and they was out. I can't stand Whoopi Goldberg either, man. Percy Earl, yeah, that's his name. Percy Earl Sweetwater, yeah. Tiffany snapped her fingers, shook her head, and got in the car with Percy, and we ain't heard from Tiffany since. I ain't mad at Tiffany, man. She took her lumps and said, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Percy Earl, sweetheart, man. That's what he said. Yeah, why don't you go and get in the car? we could arrange something now. We could work something out now. That Percy Earl character is hilarious. That Percy Earl character is funny as hell. So now here it says Ultraviolet's Todd agreed that it was not an edifying apology in her statement, though first she ripped Lemon's initial comments and reminded viewers of his history. Look at this, and reminded viewers of his history of making similar ones. So I didn't know that Don Lemon had a quote unquote history of misogynist. Nikki is playing that game of there's no racism because my immigrant family is doing great. Nikki is playing the game of anti-blackness because she wrote a whole entire book of the racism that she dealt with growing up in the South. She's a sellout. She sold out her religion. She sold out her culture. You know what I'm saying? She's your basic buck dancing coward. Her name is Nimrata. Nikki's not a nickname for Nimrata. You know what I'm saying? And would you agree, Deneen, that Nikki is not a nickname for Nimrata? Let me see. What was your question, DSB? Oh, you said she. Well, oh, wait, hold on, wait. Hold on, real quick. Oh, that was Faith Enlightened. My bad. Hold on, Faith Enlightened. Do you think Nikki Haley and others are making a issue because she is supposed to be running for 2024, and possibly whether it's Michelle Obama or Kamala, it will be two women running on each side? I don't think Nikki Haley is really the one making the issue. I think that it's just American culture speaking, just the direction of American. You got to understand, this is one of the reasons why I say we need to embrace villainy. In America, we're always going to be the bad guys. So we may as well be the best bad guys that we can be. We need to rain on every parade. We need to crash every party. We need to destroy any progress that anybody's attempting to try to make. You want to make us the bad guy? We'll show you what a bad guy looks like and be the best bad guys that history's ever seen. You want to sit here and say that our history doesn't deny or doesn't exist? Well, then we'll talk about yours, Nimrata. We'll bring up that book, Nimrata, and we'll talk about that your father was getting a paycheck from a historically black college. Since they want to deny our history, we'll talk about theirs. When people give you a sign, you should pay attention and heed the sign. There's been long signs that these people don't want to deal with us. You know what I'm saying? These people do not want to try to make peace with us. We're only here to be a national punching bag. So now what we need to start doing is make sure that the cover is on the punching bag, but we pour cement inside of the punching bag so you break your hand every time you hit it. You know what I'm saying? What people got to understand is that in this system, whether you do right or do wrong, it doesn't matter if you're black. So you shouldn't ever worry about what's right versus what's wrong. You just do what's going to benefit you. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. So now here says Todd stated, while Don Lemon's egregiously sexist comments about women being in their prime have no place on CNN or anywhere in the news media, which if you're going to say that, if you can't say that women being in their prime, if that shouldn't be on the news media, then we shouldn't be talking about black athletes being in or out of their prime either. But see, this is what I'm talking about. When they pick these particular people that are too silly to even be able to analyze their own advocacy. As long as I'm getting a paycheck and I can tap dance loud enough where everybody sees it and I can be a spectacle on TV with a gold chain and, you know what I'm saying, then I'm satisfied. And I'm not invested in any of that because it's not affecting me. Which is one of the reasons why people need to reset. Us need to create a great reset with the celebrities. They need to have their economic privileges revoked. But how many people are willing to do that? How many people even see a need to do that? I keep trying to tell people, man, when it comes to this kind of thought process, we are the minority. We're not the majority. The average, everyday person is a baseline coon, if you ask me. Most people have no sense of understanding anything as far as economics. Everybody just wants to get by. Instead of just getting by, people should want to dominate the world. Because you don't have freedom unless you're the group that's dominated the world. White people have dominated the world. That's why they talk about freedom. Because when you control everybody else, you have the ultimate freedom. We've become comfortable being under control, and that's not cool. That is a hellish purgatory of a situation to be in. And what's sad about it is that many people don't even realize that they're in that situation. Carlton says, facts, Rob. We have to cut ties with these celebrities. Look at LeBron, millions of followers, and will not utter the word reparations. And see, like and LeBron is one of those people who are like, even people who try to do the right things are so twisted and so just warped that even people who try still, there's people that inadvertently coon too. I think LeBron James does a lot of stuff on purpose, but I think a lot of stuff he does, I don't think that he does on purpose. I don't think that there's a lot of people with the intellectual capacity who have large platforms that are able to properly articulate the things that we are dealing with. I don't even think a lot of those people know. I don't even think a lot of the people see like the benefit of the kind of stuff that we talk about. Don Lemon being one of them. LeBron James being another one of them. And like my thing is like, I don't hate those people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't hate Don Lemon. I don't like him. But that just because I don't like somebody don't mean that I hate him though. I don't like Don Lemon. You know what I'm saying? But I don't like seeing this being done to Don Lemon, because just like how this is Don Lemon right here, it could be me tomorrow. It could be somebody that I'm friends with tomorrow. That right there is the way that people should look at all these kind of situations. Even if you don't like somebody, it could be you tomorrow. When we live in this world that's governed by people who make their profits off of attempting to harm us, our families, our loved ones, our economics, you should look at every situation like that could be me tomorrow. So I need to protect myself until we're controlling the world, to where then maybe we could decide to flex on people every now and then, just for old time's sake. I don't think we owe the world a system of truth and justice. I think we owe the world a system of protective domination. Because allegedly, apparently, if you look at this world and all of the courts that it has, this is a system of truth and justice. How's it working out? Truth and justice worked out real good when the prosecutors know the killers in the case of Ahmaud Arbery, right? That's truth and justice. Just think about that. So now here it says Lemon's bias against women has influenced his on-air reporting, from female athletes to politicians and even his co-anchors. Lemon has used his power and platform to consistently undermine and demean powerful women. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to put a black face on the quote-unquote patriarchy, which is something that you see done on YouTube, something that you see done on TikTok. They do this all over the place. You know what I'm saying? She expressed hope that this will be the last time Lemon's misogynistic bias has gone unchecked on air. In addition, the comms director advised the network to suspend Lemon indefinitely. CNN should immediately suspend Lemon from any future political coverage indefinitely. The anchor's cavalier public apology for flagrantly patronizing chauvinistic remarks signifies nothing of accountability or consequence. So again, my question is, where were all of these advocacy groups when Dana White slapped the dog shit out of his wife's face so hard her left side of her cheek was pink? Where were these groups at? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man PD Chicago B1. What's good with it, bro? So here go Don Lemon with his date that's taller than him. You know what I'm saying? An extra measure, she urged CNN to continue to monitor Lemon's on-air appearances for gender bias and be prepared to take additional action if needed. So Don Lemon has a chaperone. He's got to have a chaperone to be on air in white America. And as much as people may or may not disagree with this, despite the fact that we don't like Don Lemon, despite the fact that Don Lemon been off code for a hot second, this is the attack on black men by proxy. Carlton, man. Carlton said, look at how the PC man is leaning in the picture. Leaning in it. Oh man, I can't stand this, man. Wasn't Shamar Moore trouncing around on the beach? Like, I'm telling you, man. Yo, listen, man. That's why I ain't have a lot of. I'm like the only light skinned person that I'm friends with is me. I'm the only one. I'm the only light skinned motherfucker. Oh, you know what, Izzy? Let me quit lying. Izzy, me and Izzy. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I can't. Light skinned motherfuckers out here losing, man. You know what I'm saying? Bill Bellamy gave light skinned motherfuckers that death blow on how to be a player. Oh, you ain't hear about Shamar Moore playing volleyball naked on the beach or some weirdo shit like that? Oh, no, you cool, PD, Chicago B1. You good. You good. Don't even trip. You all right. I'm talking about them Don Lemon, Shamar Moore type cats. You know what I'm saying? Them Matt Barnes type motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So now Ann Couture gave Nikki Haley her white woman wake-up call. And I'm not about to lie, man. I'm actually glad Ann came at Nikki like this. And the reason why I'm glad Ann came at Nikki like this is because what Nikki needs to do is turn around and address this and say, what is this sentiment that Ann is coming at me with? But see, Nikki can't do that because she already done locked herself into a pigeonhole of saying that racism doesn't exist. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Don. Terrence said this light skin stuff got to stop. I know, bro. We got to do something about these motherfuckers out here, man. They out here making us look bad. PD Chicago said Aaron Magruder was right about Ann. I don't know who Aaron Magruder is. Who is Aaron Magruder, bro? And yeah, and she did. And she did. And I guarantee you, Nikki's not gonna say a damn thing. She's not gonna say shit. And I'm not trying to be, man, I hope Ann keeps going in on her. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. Okay. The Boondocks creator. What'd she say about Ann? The Boondocks. So here it says, Ann Coulter tells Nikki Haley to go back to your own country in racist rant against new GOP presidential candidate. Next thing you know, they're going to be having some white person telling these Ukrainians to go back to their country, and they're going to say that's racism. You know what I'm saying? So what we have here is white people defining racism, or white people's visualization or their idea of racism. Of course, a dumbed down version of it, because you can't ever say what it actually is, because then it would substantiate all of the things that we say. Shout out to Young One. What up with it, bro? Ann is a foundational white American. Nikki is non-FWA. Yeah, facts. Super facts. Ann is an adoso. You know what I'm saying? She's straight up a doso. You know what I'm saying? Ann is from the plantations of the South too. You know what I'm saying? Ann descends from the plantations of the South too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, even white folks got yeah. Nikki has tethered herself to white supremacy, and Ann says, Ann says, if you ain't rocking like me, you ain't white. Bet. And Jimmy Walker was back there like, look at Ann, dynamite. Oh, man. So we have somebody on Twitch named Admiral Groofus. So now here it says conservative pundit Ann Coulter is under fire for a quote unquote racist tirade against new Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley. So we've got to coddle Nikki. We got to coddle her. Are you okay, honey? Are you all right? Would you like me to rub some curry on your wound? You know what I'm saying? In an appearance on the Mark Simone Show podcast this week, Ann Coulter made several xenophobic comments about Haley, the former governor of South Carolina, who was born in the U.S. to Indian immigrant parents. Why don't you go back to your own country? Coulter said. I think I don't understand why when people are asked that question, they don't answer it. Now, what I find funny is that people like Ann will ask us, why don't we go back to our own country? When white people tell me, why don't I go back to my own country? I respond by saying, I never left my country. You see. Admiral Groofus says Haley is a laughable presidential candidate. Why do you say that? What's your reasons for her being laughable in your opinion? So now here it says Coulter, known for her racist and anti-immigrant stances, attacked India as well. All right, so let's Nikki Haley announces her presidential bid, and she says that she's just getting started.
The stakes are nothing less than our survival. And you and I and
she's even got a Karen KKK accent down pat. She doesn't say, "Oh, the stakes for the survival are it's going to go down at any moment if you don't vote for me." She's not doing that. She's not doing the big gulp talk. You know what I'm saying? She's sounding like an Adoso. The first thing that I'll do if I get voted in for president is I'll bring back segregation. I'll take them woke childrens right out of y'all schools.
the stakes are nothing less than our survival. And you and I and every American is being summoned to bold action.
Why isn't anybody calling her out for identity theft? Her name is Nimrata. Her name is Nimrata. And I ain't trying to be funny, but her parents wore turbans because of their religion. I'm not bringing that out to say that I hate those people or anything like that. They just did. So now here's my question. Why do white people try to shove mixed black people down black people's throats, but they stay silent on the ones that they accept or reject? This is one of the reasons why I'm glad that Ann said this, because I think that many people don't know that Nikki Haley came from another country, because a lot of white people substantiate her whiteness, and Ann Coulter is one of them old schoolers. You know what I'm saying? Haley is a try-hard wannabe WS. Yeah, big facts. If you guys agree with PD Chicago B1, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. So is Ron DeSantis. Isn't he an Italian? At the end of the day, saying the right stuff to these people only lasts for so long. They're like a ticking time bomb. You know what I'm saying? So now my question is, why is she allowed to run as Nikki and that's not her name? That's what I'm curious about. Your name is Nimrata. Look at the black people in the seating. They're like,
And so I have an announcement to make.
Look, Look, Carl just said also Carrie Lake. I don't know if she's white or black. She's as far as her being white, that for one, that doesn't matter for us because they're always automatically against us. So it doesn't matter as far as if she's white or not. And if she's black, as far as I'm concerned, until proven otherwise, nah. See, like that's one thing. People, do you guys realize that like people be fronting on YouTube and people be fronting on the internet? This whole thing of we don't like we're being selective and we're delineating, that's a new phenomenon. Man, I remember back in the day when people used to call me a coon for saying certain mixed people weren't black, or for being like, nah, man, you know, certain people that come from overseas, they be on some weird shit. Man, people used to call me a coon. Man, people used to call me a coon for saying I don't rock with Barack Obama because I don't rock with him all like that. Like I was like, my dad ain't from Kenya. You know what I'm saying? But people used to call me a coon. Now everybody beating their chest like they've been doing this the whole time, and they haven't. Like it's a whole facade ass lie out here on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lie. And then my thing too is, and I agree, I feel you, Deneen. I'm not with that either. But here go my thing, right? Look at all of the people that accepted her to attempt to legitimize her quote unquote American blackness, though. She wouldn't have been able to done that without willing participants, right? I've been saying that. I've been just like, yo, why is it that certain people get to pick who they are? Man, I had a somebody that I used to be real cool with back in the day. It was a mixed individual. You know what I'm saying? And like that was my homie. You know what I'm saying? Like we was like kid and play. Like that was my dude. And then like, you know what I'm saying? I started noticing some things and I was like, huh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Until we ultimately fell out, because like it's just at a certain point when you go so far in a certain direction, like I can't rock with you anymore. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so all throughout our childhood, you was this, and then when you became an adult, now you're this. That's interesting. You know what I'm saying? And so all the time I had noticed stuff like that. Like when I was young, I got a cousin that's mixed, but she keeps it a buck. She keeps it 100. And I mean, she ultimately kind of don't have no choice because she lives in Germany. You know what I'm saying? But even when she lived here in the United States, though, she kept it a buck. She was cool. She knew exactly what time it was. She didn't hide our side of the family. She rocked with us. We was her favorite cousins. I could hit her up today. What's up, my favorite cousin? You know what I'm saying? But everybody ain't your friend. And like the thing, people always like, you see like ignorant people making these excuses. Like somebody would be like, somebody acts a certain way or they carry themselves a certain way. Are they black? No, they not. What are you talking about? I remember people used to say that shit about Bill Clinton. Oh, he black. No, what are you talking about? No, he's not. That nigga smoked weed and he played a saxophone. He black. So you associate using drugs and playing an instrument with, that's what makes him black? Man, whatever, man. Okay. I'm gonna tell you though, that kind of shit right there, people gonna wish they hadn't have done that. Oh, see, Rob, you a coon. You a coon. You know what I'm saying? Like, you a coon. All right, okay. All right. Now look at where we at in 2023. Now everybody's scrambling to get all of these imposters out that they allowed in because, oh, they cool, they black. Oh, they cool, they black. Oh, man, that's not how it works. Why you think the other people that have issues with us are so selective? To keep it tight knit. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between somebody being cool and then you just saying you're just gonna turn this person black. Like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. Even when people say like, look, like when they see certain people and be like, oh, they got some black in them. They got some black. I don't even do that shit. Like, man, fuck out of here. I don't know what the fuck you is. You know what I'm saying? You could tell me you anything. I got to see your parents. It's like Marlon, like, what's that dude name? Myron Gaines. Myron Gaines keep going around saying that he's black. Bro, you ain't black. You was born in United Arab Emirates. You're an Arab and you're dark skinned. You know what I'm saying? And you moved to the Sudan because Sudan is a Muslim country. Stop saying that you're black. You wear a black t-shirt, the same black t-shirt every day on your podcast. You're not a black male. You just had Fresh and Fit be having black men on there all the time. You don't look nothing like none of them. Sneeko look more black than them. You know what I'm saying? People's got to stop doing that shit. People can't, like, just 5 years ago start doing start moving in this new direction of people being more nationalistic when people have not been doing that like since God knows how long. Even back in the day, the whole concept of passing, people should have known that it was people acting funny out here if it was people trying to pass. I don't care, man, if I came out damn near white with blue eyes and straight hair, I still wouldn't be trying to pass. I got to see my family every day. I know who I am. If you're trying to pass that, you've given up everything and people that love you just so that you can have an easy time in the world. To me, that's pathetic. But right, Faith, but that's still associating blackness with degeneracy. People were saying that Clinton was black because he was bold to cheat and get a blowjob in the White House. I ain't never cheated and got no damn blowjob anywhere, like in no important position. That's not something that's a defining trait of blackness. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about that, man. Like, it was black people saying that shit. It was black people saying, oh, yeah, you know that nigga black. He got a blowjob and still, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, how that make somebody black? And see, as many people repeat it, then anything that we repeat or anything that we say, they take it and turn it into a derogatory talking point because they can't help themselves. It's almost like there's a pendulum problem. The things that it seems like we can't help ourselves with doing, they can't help themselves with exploiting that we do it. And that's been going on for hundreds of years. And I really don't understand how people haven't picked up on that yet. I'm surprised somebody didn't say that about Dana White. You know Dana White, black, you know what I'm saying? Because she said, shit, I'm just going to slap the shit out of her. Man, come on, man. When the fuck has anybody ever associated, he black with something positive? Oh, he's not going to run off with the plans for the White House because he's black. Because Benjamin Banneker didn't run off with the plans. Pierre L'Enfant did. When are people going to start saying, you're going to win if it's some black people involved, like every war in American history or the Olympics? That's what people should be saying. Oh, you're going to win like you got some black people on your team. That's what people should be saying because that's the truth. Who win the Olympics all the time? The teams with black people on their team? Who win the wars all the time? When black people decide to start fighting? Oh, Bill Clinton, he was getting sucked off. He must be black. Man, that's ignorant. Murray Povich, Jerry Springer. I'm finna sign up for this daytime school program for the 5 years talk. And I'm sorry, but that's that segment of the population that I don't care if they make it or not. And I'm sorry, but like we shouldn't either. People will be mad like, oh, that's divisive. You know what I'm saying? That's for yes, it is divisive. We need to separate the cream from the crop and let them turn into fertilizer and actually accelerate them turning into fertilizer. Because ain't nobody got time for that. I don't have time to be tripping over some dummy saying retard shit. And that's all that they do. That's all that they do. The Jerry Springer and the Maury Povich crowd, we can't save. Yep. Give them some terminal blunts and call it a day. Get high one last time. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy yourself. Now, here's the thing, right? That goes into the social eugenic engineering situation that's been going on for a long time in this country. Nah, you know who we can't use them as human shields. You know who uses them as human shields? WS. WS uses them as human shields. In every major city, they've set up Pookie manufacturing plants, also known as the Metropolitan Housing Authority. And so what we'll do is we'll create a never-ending supply of idiots that we can showcase to the world as this particular group of people. We can put them on the news, and we can get a select few of them who are good at sports and put them in the limelight. And even then, when they have money and they're in the limelight, we know that they're stupid, so they're going to ruin every opportunity that they have. They're not going to do anything that makes any sense. So as long as we have the eugenics program that's geared towards building people who are dependent on WS, and not only dependent on WS, but finding the worst of the worst and getting them together to continue to manufacture Pookies, we have an ongoing assembly line of Pookies ready to be exploited for money, whether it's through the criminal justice system, whether it's through athletics, whether it's through being a celebrity. And then what we can do is we can put the focus on this small segment of people, and we can make it look like that's the entire race of people. And all you have to do is advertise, well, if you come to the United States, you know you've been successful if you're not like these people that came out of this Pookie manufacturing plant. One of these days, we need to put together a flow chart that shows the species of coons, because there's a bunch of different species of coons. Just because you're a Pookie and you know every slang in the book and you think you know how to fight, you know what I'm saying? You think you know how to get down and dirty. That don't mean that you're not a coon. You're still a coon. Just the fact that you're breathing is collectively harming everybody else because you're an idiot and you're a detriment to society. Pookies can become police officers, like the ones that killed Tyree Nichols. You know what I'm saying? And as long as we continue to put the focus on those and not the system that's manufacturing them, that's what they want us to do as well. We got to stop the manufacture, and we got to stop the system that's powering the manufacture. You know what I'm saying?
before you as the daughter of immigrants, as the proud wife of a combat veteran, and as the mom of 2 amazing children. I've served as governor of the great state of South Carolina and as America's ambassador to the United Nations. And above all else, I'm a grateful American citizen who knows our best days are yet to come if we unite.
Grateful to who? Is she even grateful to the right people? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed that like button, please make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not shared the video out to your social media, please make sure you guys take a moment and share the video out to your social media.
And fight to save our country. I have devoted my life to this fight, and I'm just getting started. For a strong America, for a proud America, I am running for president of the United States of America.
A source.
So now here's my question. Are you all happy that Nikki Haley is running for the president of the United States of America? If you guys are happy, give me a thumbs up. If you guys are not happy, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Maine and shout out to MC Fact. What's going on with it, bro? So now here it says her candidacy did remind me that I need to immigrate to India so that I can demand that they start taking down parts of history, she said. What's with the worshiping of cows? They're all starving over there. Did you know that they have a rat temple? Were they worshiping rats? So now what Ann Coulter is talking about is that Nikki Haley thinks that taking down Confederate statues is somehow racial justice, because that's just the diluted thoughts that the WS brain damage causes. You know what I'm saying? Coulter also called Haley a bimbo and a preposterous creature, criticizing her for having advocated removing the Confederate flag from the grounds of South Carolina State House in the wake of the 2015 shooting at Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston. The reason why white people want to keep the Confederate flags up is because they want to worship their slave owning and world conquering ancestors, which, if you ask me, everybody worships their ancestors. So it shouldn't be a mystery of why they want to keep these monuments and things like that up. As much as people talk about our ancestors and the contributions to our collective history that they've had, that's why white people want to keep up the monuments of their ancestors and the symbols of their ancestors, swastikas, Confederate flags, nooses, things like that. Those are the things that were used to allow them to have what they have and be where they are in the world. The only way that's going to change is if we have new monuments of new ancestors that destroy that entire system to give us world dominance. Not a negotiation, not working together. So that's something that people need to think about. So now here it says, this is my country, ladies, she said, and I'm not an American Indian, and I don't like them taking down all the monuments. Of course she doesn't, because again, we just explained that. That's one of the reasons why churches have Jesus up all over the place. That's why churches have angels up all over the place. Jesus is an ancestor of those biblical Abrahamic religions and things like that. Yahweh and Yeshua and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Any religion has its monuments up. Islam with Allah and Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a Malcolm statue because we haven't dominated the world. We haven't dominated the areas where Malcolm X was a prominent speaker. And also, we didn't put them up. When they came to where we were, they shot down and destroyed all of the monuments of our ancestors, the Great Sphinx. They came here and destroyed the monuments of all of the people here's ancestors and put in place their ancestors on Mount Rushmore, built up schools over the burial grounds of where people were here. They talking about drill rappers. The people that came to this country was the original I'll piss on your grave people. And they still pissing on the graves of people today, dumping toxic waste all over the place. You know what I'm saying? We won't have any statues of any ancestors or any new ancestors until we create them. We can't even maintain voting blocks. We need to start doing that. We can't expect anybody else to maintain our history. It's not their responsibility. We're gonna. Do we expect white people to put up statues of John Brown, who John Brown was against slavery? He was against the white supremacist system here in the United States, and he fought other white people to try to help abolish slavery. You think they're going to honor him, or are they going to honor the people that created what they have here in this country? They're not going to honor John Brown. That's why they hate John Brown. They honor their ancestor that killed John Brown because he made an example of what happens to white people that cross that system. John Brown crossed the white supremacy system, and Robert E. Lee killed his whole family. You know what I'm saying? That's another unspoken reason of the Robert E. Lee obsession that they don't talk about. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Haley announced her candidacy Tuesday, making her the first Republican opponent for former President Donald Trump, for whom Coulter has been a vocal proponent. I don't think that if Haley runs against Trump, I don't think Haley has a chance. The only way that Haley will win if she goes against Trump is if she gets the same kind of quote unquote assistance that Joe Biden got, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? If she get on that Joe Biden assistance plan, then she might have a chance. You know what I'm saying? So let me see. Yeah, Haley is like George Santos. CNN this morning has failed chemistry test under CEO Chris Licht. How many of y'all saw that coming a mile away? If you guys saw that coming a mile away, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't see it coming a mile away, give me a thumbs down. So now here it says the Don Lemon debacle is just one of CNN's current woes behind the scenes, we hear. Several sources and insiders believe the network's new boss, Chris Licht, is a disaster, and that one of his biggest failures is rushing the launch of CNN This Morning, which is the network's lowest rating morning show in a decade, according to the Wrap. Licht lured Lemon from primetime with a heftier deal, placing him with Poppy Harlow and Katlyn Collins, who quickly rose to stardom at the network, covering President Donald Trump's administration. I've never heard of Poppy Harlow or Katlyn Collins. So my question is, had you guys heard of Poppy Harlow or Katlyn Collins? I never had heard of them. But now Don Lemon actually got a heftier. He actually got a heftier contract to go to This Morning show. See, it says Chris Licht lured Don Lemon from primetime with a heftier deal. So he's getting paid more for this job that he has now than he was in the past. If you guys agree with Deneen, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. I agree. I've been saying that for a long time. They are setting Don Lemon up so he'll blow up on air. And then the white women will say that they felt threatened. They'll take Don Lemon out in handcuffs, and Don Lemon will be getting busted down in jail for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the trio, however, has failed the chemistry test, with one insider describing the show as unwatchable. No one agrees with Chris. No one's talking about the real problem, how his plan imploded in the evenings, and now the network is a disaster, a complete dumpster fire with so many people fired, laid off. They're pumping out stories about Don, the insider said. Lemon didn't do himself any favors on Thursday's broadcast when he put his foot in his mouth and alienated female viewers by repeating a sexist idea that a woman is considered to be in her prime, in her 20s, 30s, and maybe 40s. Now, white people don't consider it a racist idea that black people have a low IQ, but it's considered a sexist idea that women are in their prime in 20, 30, and 40. So pay very close attention to how their logic never stands up. It's basically all about what we want to try to get on your case for right now. Yeah, absolutely. If you guys haven't smashed that like button, please make sure that you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't shared the video out, please make sure you guys share the video out. And I agree, Terrence. That's biased language for a newspaper. Big facts. But all the media is biased, which is one of the reasons why we have to have our own biased news, so that we can show people what it is that they need to be looking at. I don't think that everybody needs to really saturate themselves in content about a white culture war. I don't think anybody cares about a white culture war except for white people, but somehow they got everybody caring about it. You got black content creators sitting up here talking about what's woke and what's not, while their friends are somewhere burning a cross. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says another source told us that Lemon was just pulling from former CNN boss Jeff Zucker's playbook, who they claim fed talent a daily diet of be provocative. I think Don got caught up. He's trying to find his identity on the show, and he was trying to be provocative. No way he believes that, but it was dumb for him to say it, even if he thought he was trying to make some point. Look at this. They got this video right. They got this picture of him right here. Embattled CNN anchor Don Lemon flees to Miami Beach amid Nikki Haley controversy. This ain't even a controversy. Tucker Carlson can say NIGGERs should hang from a tree, and it's just business as usual. You know what I'm saying? Like literally all the news, whether it's white liberal or white conservative news media, is blatantly anti-black. I mean, they you know what I'm saying? Like, it's amazing how anti-black they are. The things that they just say. I mean, they're like inches away from calling people the N-word, and it's just okay. They've actually have called for violence against black people. Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and Laura Ingraham have all implied for their audiences to go out, seek out violence against black people and harm black people. And Don Lemon makes a comment that's arguably true, just like how Whoopi Goldberg made a comment that's true, and you have to apologize for saying the truth. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Lemon apologized to his coworkers in a morning call. I'm about to actually make a video of this. Let me snag this for another time. That picture is just too funny. That picture is just too funny. That is hilarious. Another source told us that Lemon was just pulling from the former CNN boss Jeff Zucker's playbook, who they claim fed talent a daily diet of be provocative. I think Don got caught up. He's trying to find his identity on the show, and he was trying to be provocative. No way he believes that, but it was so dumb for him to say. Even if he thought he was trying to make some point, they said. Lemon apologized to his co-workers in an early morning call on Friday, explaining, I was trying to make the point that no one else's age, not a man or woman, should define their ambition or potential for success at anything. And I was saying those comments to Nikki Haley, not my co-host, which the thing is that anybody with any kind of common sense knows that. Anybody with any kind of common sense knows that. Liked doubled down on the outrage, saying on the call, Don and I have spoken at length. He knows I'm disappointed. His remarks were upsetting, unacceptable, and unfair to his co-host, and ultimately a huge distraction to the great work of this organization. A third source told us it's 100% false that Light made Lemon hop on the phone to apologize to his colleagues. The idea that he made Don do it is the furthest thing from the truth. It's being spun, and it's all so odd. No one at the network has ever had an issue with Don being sexist. So now let me ask you guys a question. Is that something that you all feel Don Lemon is sexist? If you guys think that Don Lemon is sexist, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that Don Lemon is sexist, give me a thumbs down. And make sure you also thumbs up the video. And if you're not subscribed, hit the bell. Our second source believes that Light is milking the outrage. They're leaking stories about him being the big, mean, toxic guy yelling, the source added. This is so far from who he is. Yeah, Don Lemon being the big, mean, toxic guy. Don Lemon being a big, mean, toxic guy. I want you guys to sit back and just imagine Don Lemon being the big, mean, toxic guy. That's hilarious. Meanwhile, we're told Lemon is finding it hard to trust his colleagues after stories leaked out about an alleged altercation between him and Collins that left the crew rattled back in December. So now, if Don Lemon finds it hard to trust his colleagues, why are you still working there? Deneen Grant said they stretch the truth like how Don Lemon gets stretched when he be on the beach with his boyfriend. Don Lemon says CNN up there stretching the truth like how Don Lemon be getting stretched when he go on them beach dates. If y'all agree that that's true, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. So now here it says it's weird that they are put in that situation. What happens on the show doesn't even feel like a big deal. No one reacts to it in the studio. It's a high pressure environment, the third source said. This to me sounds like something that they just threw together. And they really don't care how it works out. I think that this is a big trap for Don Lemon. Don P says Donna Lemon CNN trash fire. Sad thing is you saw it coming. True second coming pointed this out. Or Torian Rain second coming pointed this out. If you know, you know. They have been moving Donna out the door since his time downgrade. Well, PPP waiting. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Don P. Facts. They absolutely have. You know what I'm saying? That's all this is. And they're going to keep running these articles on him. This is what they do. They're going to try to keep mounting pressure and keep mounting pressure. And now here's the thing, right? They can mount as much pressure as they want to. We all know that Don Lemon is all about a good mounting. You know what I'm saying? But at some point, something's going to happen and they're going to end up getting him out of there. And my thing is, bruh, you may as well just go on out of there while you can. Get out now. So now here it says it's weird that they're put in that position. What happens on the show doesn't even feel like it's a big deal. No one reacts in the studio. It's a high pressure environment, the third source said. A TV insider even believes it was a bad idea for Light to place Collins with Lemon and Harlow because it diminished her role as a hard-hitting political reporter. It's misguided. A chummy morning show doesn't let her shine, the source said. Ratings at the network have hit an all-time low, and morale at CNN also low, and no one feels safe about their jobs, the source said. Well, I feel bad for CNN because ratings at Blacklight Revelations are at an all-time high. Viewership is at an all-time high, and we're growing. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, I think that my channel actually gets more watch hours than CNN in the morning, which I don't even have, you know what I'm saying, anywhere near like no big subscriber count or anything like that. So people that you guys watch that have bigger channels than me are probably eclipsing CNN. Yeah, they're saying that she's a hard-hitting political reporter. That's what they claim. You know what I'm saying? CNN is in big trouble. The network is really in bad shape, and the format doesn't work. They're not going to continue paying Don all that money for a failing show, the TV insider said. The reason people are leaking is because they're upset and eager to talk. No one agrees with Chris Light. It's good they're not bashing Trump all the time, but the new direction is not great, they added. So, again, this is something that a lot of people, not just myself, a lot of people predicted this. A lot of people predicted this. CNN is imploding on itself. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see NBC at some point acquire CNN and their subsidiaries. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says a spokesperson for CNN told us the premise of this story is false and completely absurd. CNN will not be distracted by speculation that defies logic, they said. All right. So, yeah, Don Lemon is the big bad guy. So recently it was trending on Twitter because you know what happens. Now what's going to happen is they're going to use their algorithms to bring back any kind of negative light that they can shine on somebody. Right. So now Don Lemon is really getting it. And what they're doing is they're using the we're all in it together as sisters tactic. We're all in it together as sisters. You see Nikki Haley and Kamala Harris and, you know, all of these women out here, fist pump, pink fist in the air. We're all together in it as women, you see, except for the fact that like they just throw black men in jail. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter if that black person in jail happens to be somebody else's man. That shit don't matter. We're just all in it together as women, except for also when you're Ketanji Brown Jackson and you're asked in a Senate hearing what a woman is and you can't even identify yourself because you're too much of a coward. But other than that, yeah, you know, we're all in it together as women. So there was a time on CNN when Don Lemon was debating somebody about Kamala Harris being a black woman. Now, this is what I'm curious about. Let's just put this out on the table. What is Kamala Harris? Because one thing that we have here in the United States is the white media and the white population at large attempts to dump people on non-white people. And in most times they attempt, because it's easiest, they dump them on black people. White America, in particular, J.B. Pritzker, dumped Barack Obama on black people and said, here's your black person. They did the same thing with Colin Powell. They did the same thing with Condoleezza Rice. They did the same thing with Cory Booker. And they did the same thing with Kamala Harris. Right. But for some reason, that never happens with any of the other mixed ethnicity people like Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, or Nikki Haley, because they're all just engulfed into the white supremacist superstructure. So how does that work? There's never any question of them or who they are. So now here's a time when there's two white guys in the middle here, and you got Don Lemon and this black woman here going back and forth. And it's a show where these two can just sit there and these two are yelling at each other like some buffoons. But what they're yelling at each other over is something interesting, and we're going to listen to it. And I want to know what you guys think.
Exactly. But the same thing to check those, they didn't use- but they don't want to get into the fitness issue. Number one, she is a black woman. She's a mixed race woman. When you see her, you
Okay, so if you're a mixed race person, how are you black? I asked this question on Just Talking with TD and Rob. My mom is mixed. Do I get to choose? Like, can I just choose like, yo, I'm white? That shit would never work. But we've read articles before, and those articles that we read before have shown Asian people identifying Kamala Harris as an AAPI American. Do you guys remember that? If you guys remember those articles that we read, and it was talking about Kamala Harris, and they were saying that she was part of the AAPI community, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't remember, give me a thumbs down. Not only is Kamala Harris's mother Indian, but her father is not a black American. Her father is a Jamaican dude. So now what you have is you got the population at large and you got the white media dumping someone with two parents that are not of American origin and don't identify with black American culture into your lap, saying that this is your president. If Vladimir Putin came over here, could we dump him onto white people and say, here, this is your president. Here, take Vladimir Putin, take him. He's yours. Hell no, because Russian culture is very different from Western European culture. Eastern European culture and Western European culture are very different. The only thing they have in common is that they're racist. You know what I'm saying? Dual allegiances. Yeah, I agree with that. And Kamala Harris should be vetted, right? But like, if we allow the white media to do the vetting, they're just going to give information that lets you be confused or that encourages confusion. Kamala Harris got childhood pictures up into her teens wearing whatever the hell kind of clothes those are that they wear. And do that make you less of a person? No, it doesn't make you less of a person. Nobody has a problem with you that you're Asian. You know, you'll get all the Asians in here talking about, that AAPI hate, that AAPI hate. No, that's not AAPI hate. What that is you're utilizing identity theft. They're doing that transracial shit. Well, today I identify as a black person. The same way today I identify as a woman. Like, nah. And her mother on her birth certificate even put that she was white. But you have her. You see this woman right here? This lady that's on the TV screen right here. She's the one saying she's a mixed person / she's a black person. Being a mixed person does not make you a black person. Just like Barack Obama. Like what are you talking about? And the thing that's fascinating is how come the white people who always have something just so brilliant to add to every single conversation, since they just can't stay out of every conversation, how come they didn't say, well, why doesn't it make her an Asian person? Because, you know, if they were trying to make a point to try to say that black people are anti-white, they would have said, well, why isn't the mixed kid white? Knowing that their families wouldn't accept that kid as white, because they don't. Black people, us, historically have been the only group of people that accept people who are not fully black. No other group of people does that. Everybody else rejects you. You know what I'm saying? But they're not saying anything about that. So what I don't understand is when it comes to these kind of conversations, what should have happened is that those two white men who were there on the screen should have said, well, Don is actually right, because when somebody is black and white and biracial, we don't accept them as white. That's what they should have said if they were being honest. And I agree with Don. Slavic culture and Anglo culture are different cultures. Big facts. So now if somebody took a Slavic person and said, here's your white president, here's your white president, people gonna be like, wait a minute, what you talking about? But they do this with black people all the time. And a lot of times, just that moving goofy shit, people be on that we are the world bullshit so much. Look at how it's harmed where we are. Look at how it's harmed where we are. Like I said, people be criticizing Colin Kaepernick, right? And Colin Kaepernick is a mixed dude that grew up with a white family. But Colin Kaepernick is out here embarrassing other mixed people because, bro, you mixed, you grew up with a white family, and you still be putting on harder than a lot of these motherfuckers that grew up anywhere else. Colin Kaepernick go harder than Kamala Harris. Colin Kaepernick go harder than Barack Obama. Kamala Harris and Barack Obama, the first things came out of their mouth was that they're not going to do anything for black people. Don't sit up there and tell me that those are my black presidents, those are my black politicians, when they literally the first thing came out of their mouth was that they're going to sell out black people, and it don't matter if we vote for them or not. Everybody else who votes for these people is going to get something, and they're not. Yeah, Michi X, she be going hard in the paint. She got a white dad. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to me, that book writes itself. So for this lady to get up here saying all this stuff, okay, let's wait and see what Kamala Harris do. Let's wait and see what she presents as. You know what I'm saying? And she not presenting anything, so she ain't earned no ticket. So my thing is, this is manufactured. This is some manufactured bullshit. They'll take these politicians and turn them into whatever they want them to be for you and put it out there to see if you believe it or not, without them putting in any work or doing anything. And they haven't put in any work or done anything, if you ask me. Here's my question. What did Barack Obama do that significantly improved the economic standing of black people here in the United States? Did he do anything? What about Kamala Harris? What did she do? Those people got into positions where they had a little bit of influence, because I'm not going to say power because they didn't have no power. And all they did was use that to substantiate white supremacist talking points. And they're still trying to shove it down our throat that these people are black. These people are, quote unquote, our politicians. They're not, man. I disagree with that. I disagreed with that for a long time, and I caught hell for it when I was younger. Look at that. Deneen said, my boomer friends were asking me if I was going to wear chucks and pearls on Biden's inaugurations. I was like, are y'all out of your mind? Man, that's crazy. Bro, kept innocent people in jail. Man, kept innocent people in jail, prosecuted innocent people. And that's because Barack Obama got a lot of his political funding from J.B. Pritzker. And J.B. Pritzker lines the pockets of a lot of Democrats. The Pritzker family business. You know what I'm saying? So let's check this out. I got on a rant. So now it says CNN alert. Kamala Harris slams those questioning her identity as showing hate and division. So now let me ask you guys a question. Let's just put this out there. Who was Kamala Harris talking about when she slammed people questioning her identity? Listen, man. Hey, you know what? Shout out to my man TD Hip Hop Media. My man TD Hip Hop Media has no issues ever telling people I'm Haitian. And that's because TD Hip Hop is a solid brother. TD Hip Hop Media comes from a place in his heart where he actually wants to do the right thing. That shit speaks for itself. It's a lot of people that's not foundational Black American that's on the right side of history. And and their actions and the work that they put in and what they do speaks for itself. Their track record speaks for itself. Nobody would be questioning your identity if your track record spoke for itself. But your track record is shady. And your track record of who you do things to is shady. That's why people are questioning your identity. That's the reason why people, it's not because of nobody hating anybody. It's because, wait a minute, you doing some weird ass shit. You really not moving like somebody who would consider themselves a Black person. What's going on here? And that's why people are calling it out. But notice they never did anything to address the concerns that people had. You know, Kamala Harris locked up a Black mother for truancy when she was in California. There was a guy who was on a reality TV show. She falsely locked him up for murder. The California false imprisonment fund paid out the most money when she was the prosecutor out there. Yeah, look at Jim Clyburn. Look at Larry Elder. You know what I'm saying? Look at Thomas Sowell. Look at Ben Carson. Look at all those clowns. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't nobody question anything that they was doing if they were on the right track, but they're not on the right track. They're not doing the right thing. You're not saying or doing the right things. That is why people are questioning you. But see, when you have this right here is the WS media apparatus used to attempt to try to derange the conversation. People questioning her identity because they're asking, how can you be a person like us when you're doing shit to harm people like us? Not because anybody hates her. Ain't nobody calling for no genocide, and ain't nobody doing that except them folks. Kamala Harris is a piece of shit that attacks Black families, and she also attacks Black men, and she tries to sell herself to Black people. That's why her identity is being questioned. It's not rocket science. Because her child has sickle cell. Big facts, Detroit 313. That's exactly what that was all about. Her kid has sickle cell, and she didn't take her to school that day, and Kamala Harris's team of prosecutors prosecuted that woman. If you doing shit out there like that, yeah, people gonna ask you about, what's up with you? Why are you doing stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? But they're going to sit here and try to make it like somebody's doing. They're sowing seeds of division. They're sowing seeds of division. Kamala Harris sows seeds of division by her actions that she took against us. Us asking, well, who are you really, isn't sowing signs of division. You know what I'm saying? So now there's a little clip here, and it says Don Lemon debates April Ryan on Kamala Harris's identity, while the two white guys who are the progenitors of all of these identities sit there silent and enjoy the entertainment that they get on behalf of two Black people embarrassing themselves for a paycheck.
No.
Number one, she is a Black woman. She's a mixed race woman. When you see her, you see her Black.
She is a Black woman. She's a mixed race woman. How is that the same thing? You literally you just answered your question. She's a Black woman. She's a mixed race woman. Which one is it? If you listen to those Black male hater channels on YouTube, those women consider mixed women not Black women. But for some reason they consider mixed men Black men, especially when they commit a crime. But they consider mixed Black women not Black women. So again, which one is it? Now, if you go by the one drop rule, the one drop rule will say everybody's Black. And that's one of the reasons why I don't believe in the out of Africa theory, because the out of Africa theory is nothing more than a white supremacist attempt to substantiate everybody being able to have claim to Africa and Africa's resources. Detroit 313 said women co-sign that bullshit. Yeah, a lot of them do, and I don't understand it. So a mixed woman isn't black, but when you want to make black men look bad, a mixed race black man is a black man. I don't. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? That shit don't make any sense whatsoever. But people will literally clap, and you know what I'm saying? People will, they'll applaud and cheer any kind of thing that gaslights whatever it is that they want to believe. So, you know what I'm saying? There's that. But those people, those very same people will use Kamala Harris and Kamala Harris's achievements to say, look at what black women are doing. Look at what black women are doing. But when Montel Williams is dating her, Montel Williams is a colorist because he chose an exotic woman, not a black woman. Like none of this shit makes any fucking sense. I really hope for people's sake that one day on the mainstream media, they don't start reacting to YouTube videos to show the real low IQ issues that are prevalent on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Because that's gonna make everybody look bad. That's that moving goofy shit that I'm talking about. That's them goofy ass moves that people do.
No.
Number one, she is a black woman. She's a mixed race woman. When you see her, you see.
So when you ask white people, is a mixed person white? What do they say? I want everybody that's in the comment section, answer that question for me. When you ask a white person if somebody is mixed, what do they say? That's my question. So now it should be the same for everybody, right? Whatever white people's answer to, do you consider a mixed person white? That should be the same as what it is for any other racial group of people. If white people get to answer that question differently, then that shows that it's them that determines who goes into which genetic trash can they want to place them in, because they consider every other race of people a genetic trash can. So again, this isn't me. I don't have an issue with mixed people at all. You know what I'm saying? What I'm asking is somebody make that shit make sense to me. Detroit 313 said black women will claim black men are colorist and self-hate, but they say nothing about divestors calling hard R toward black men. If you're a black man, there's nothing that you can do that's correct in this world, which is one of the reasons why instead of trying to negotiate with the world, people need to start getting on the page of taking it over. Because the only reason why that kind of shit exists is because somebody else allows it to exist, because it weakens other groups of people. If the only other group of people that can compete with the men in charge are men of other groups, the best way to keep that competition at bay is to weaken those men from the inside. And so that's why that shit prevails. There's a lot of dumb people out there who are dumb at regular shit, but real intelligent at the unproductive ass shit that they do. Like I said, it's perfectly okay to see somebody, a dark-skinned woman with a light-skinned dude. That's cool. That's all right. They not colorist or nothing like that. Or if somebody say they don't like light-skinned dudes, because shit, I got that shit all the time growing up. You know what I'm saying? You too motherfucking light. But I ain't never called nobody a colorist though, because I ain't really. I mean, okay, cool. I'll move on. I'll do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't out here calling nobody a colorist. Nowadays, if you don't like who the fuck we want you to like, you're this kind of ist, or you're that kind of ist. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit crazy. But that's what be happening. And I gotta agree with PD Chicago B1. Useful idiots. That's what they are. And they just buy right into that shit. And speaking of Kamala Harris's husband, man, he was up there kissing people while he's married, kissing them on the lips. And her husband is one of them folks. So you already know what time it is. So you already know he a degenerate. That's why he up there kissing everybody. Probably kissed some dudes on the lips too.
Her blackness, but she is also South Asian. Her mom is South Asian and her dad is Jamaican.
So how is she black then? Listen to this logic. I want y'all to listen to this. This lady literally just debunked her own talking point. And then she's still trying to say that Kamala Harris is black though. Somebody make this make sense to me. And real quick, y'all, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment, smash the like button. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice, and please do me a favor and share the video to your social media. But there was Biden's weird ass wife that he kissed. Listen to, she said she's a black woman, and then she named all these other things. She's a mixed woman. She's she's a South Asian woman. What? right. Deneen Jill said, well, my man, you know what I'm saying, his brain and, you know what I'm saying, down there probably don't work. And yeah, shit, you know what I'm saying, I'll take yours, you know what I'm saying, if you ain't around, so fuck it, you know what I'm saying. You know, she was right there with them little with them little bird lips poked out. she was there with the bird lips poked out, like she was waiting for him to drop the worm in her mouth. She's like, tweet, 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 tweet.
See her, you see her blackness, but she is also South Asian. Her mom is South Asian and her dad is Jamaican.
April, let me listen.
Yes.
More power.
How is she a black woman in America when you just literally sat there and said 2 times that she is Asian? What are we doing, y'all? It's a lot of mixed people. It's a lot of mixed people that are down. It's a lot of mixed people that present as black people. They've been black people. They not out here acting crazy. They're on the right side of history. They keep it a buck. Kamala Harris is not one of them. She's not one of them. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna say somebody is Asian and then in the next sentence say, but she is a black woman, and you're just standing on this, man? She stood on this, man. She shut the casket and stood. I'm like, nah, Don, don't even respond no more. You just gonna shut up. Like, nah, ain't nobody about to just shut up. You sound crazy. You sound crazy, and that needs to be pointed out. And again, just because somebody is saying something about Kamala Harris's identity, what's so bad about that? If she was keeping it a buck, again, wouldn't nobody be questioning her identity? She doesn't keep it a buck. Asian people do not consider mixed Asians who are mixed with black. They don't consider them Asians. Black people, again, for some reason, probably because of WS brain damage, are the only people that tend to seem to blindly just accept other groups of people, and other groups of people eat off us and then bounce back to their communities and hide if they can get accepted or not. People got to stop with that shit, man. You want to be down? I need a blood signature on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now see, here's the thing, right? This woman, this is what's so crazy, right? Women are some of the biggest supporters of trans people that are replacing them. This woman right here, this is a black woman. You know what I'm saying? This woman is a black woman. Your family doesn't look like Kamala Harris's family. Why are you fighting for this woman so hard? You know what kind of sisters Kamala Harris got that look like this woman on the screen? Her Alpha Kappa Alpha sisters, not the sisters in her family. And she fighting for her tooth and nail. Now here's my question: who put this lady up to fighting for Kamala Harris like this?
Let me listen.
Yes.
More power to her, and I think it's great. That should be enough. Listen, it is enough that she's a black woman.
We are not a monolith.
But no, exactly.
But they did the same thing.
No. I think you're not hearing what people are saying.
What do her being a mixed woman have to do with us being a monolith? Don't even. It's right. Don't, man. That's a whole nother. That's a whole damn nother stream, bro. Faith and Lighten said Kamala was the worst DA in Cali. Not one black in Cali likes Kamala. Never did, never will. Yeah, I heard that. Izzy was telling me that. You know what I'm saying?
The people who are saying, is she blacking up? That's bull. That's BS. But
that's not bull. That's not BS. That is not bull. And that is not BS. That is a legitimate question. Ann Coulter basically said that Nikki Haley ain't white enough. And this is Don Lemon, somebody who puts his gender before being a black male. So, of course, you wouldn't see any issue with that. I want people that can relate to the problems that I deal with, man. See, like, when people are asking, are you a black person? It's because they want to know if you're relatable or not. Do you understand our political interests? Do you understand the problems that we run into every day? Do you have a backbone? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to stand up to these Karens and Chads that you got to go to these Senate hearing meetings with? Or are you going to back down like a little bitch? That's the shit that we're asking about. It don't have nothing to do with division and hate. We want to know, are you going to fight the fight or are you going to sit your ass down somewhere? That's what we want to know. And I got to agree. If you guys agree with Deneen, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. April Ryan, you sound crazy. She sound like she doesn't have a clean bill of mental health.
To want a distinction to say, is she African American or is she black or is she whatever? There is nothing wrong with that. There is a difference between being African American and being black.
This is funny that they bring this clip came back around and got viral again, because they didn't have this conversation and talk about this very much. That the United States just decided to slap a label of African American on us. That's something that's not talked about, that white people, if you talk about, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. You want to sit there and talk about St. Patrick's Day and suck on sauerkraut all day, but we can't talk about how do we just get called African American out of the clear blue sky? Because the way that we got called African American out of the clear blue sky is completely different than the reason why you're called white and, you identify and celebrate, Oktoberfest and all this bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And, you have your first and last name where you can trace your family back. If we trace our first and last name back, our first and last names only, they'll trace us back to a white person somewhere. When you come from Africa to the United States, your last name doesn't trace you back to a white family. Ours does here. We have a completely different culture. In Spain, the Spanish people are not the same as Hispanics or Latinos that don't come from Spain. And it's just amazing that everybody's brain seems to fail on these basic logical concepts when it comes to us. Why is that? Why is that? Why does everybody's brain seem to fail when it comes to these basic logical concepts when it comes to us? I don't like being called African American because I'm not African. I can't tell you a country that I can trace my family back to in Africa. If I did a DNA test, my DNA will be dramatically different from someone from Nigeria. I don't look like anybody that lives in Nigeria. You know what I'm saying? I look exactly like what I am. Somebody that's been through the WS manufacturing factory known as the United States. That's exactly what I look like. I don't understand why people accept this nonsense.
People, Latino people, are people of color, but they're not black. They're brown people.
She is a woman of color, but she is.
What's funny is actually those people, if we're gonna use that kind of logic, those people are the result of the transatlantic slave trade too. But somehow they're called Latino. Somehow they have their own designation and they speak Spanish. Our DNA as black as us, American descendants of slaves, freemen, you know what I'm saying, foundational black Americans, if we took a DNA test and a Puerto Rican person in New York took a DNA test, our DNA is probably closer to them than what you would see in Africa because of the racial admixtures that we have from being here in the United States. Why is this such a hard concept to grasp for a lot of these other people that want to sell people this nonsensical fake ass dream? You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you, have you ever, the rapper Don, or the reggaeton singer Don Omar looks more like a FBA person than people that you see in Africa, and Don Omar is Latino. And that's just to laugh. Oh, they there as overseers, Deneen. They there as overseers. So now the reason why they pulled this clip back up, though, is because what they're trying to do is they're tying this into the comments that Don Lemon said about Nikki Haley. And they're saying that Don Lemon was sexist, misogynist, and racist towards Kamala Harris.
Is a black woman.
Okay, that's why I agree with that. I agree with that. But is she African American? No. But is she African American? There's a difference. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, she's not African American. Her family doesn't come from Africa, and her family doesn't come from America. Her family comes from Jamaica, and her family comes from Asia. You know what I'm saying? And like this discussion is just so cringe, man. And just between Don Lemon and her and the two white guys just sitting there looking confused when they're not confused about anything is just it's just wild, man.
That no one is trying to take anything away from her.
Let's go down into her lineage.
I think you're falling into a trap. All she had to do was say,
look, she said her lineage. She said her lineage. She said, let's go into her lineage.
All she had to do was say, I am black, but I'm not African American. That's it.
Don, I'm not falling in a trap. I'm not falling in. Let me finish. Hold on. I'm not falling into a trap by that. When she goes down her lineage, many Africans landed in Jamaica.
Okay, many Africans landed everywhere all over the world. Now what? Now what? This is crazy, man. People like this woman right here, April Ryan, they got to get out of the paint. We got to get them people up out of here.
In all these other Caribbean islands, so she could indeed
Jamaica's
be
not America.
African American mixed with others, but she is
Jamaica's not America.
But she is a black.
Don Lemon is, believe it or not, Don Lemon is actually the one saying the right shit here. Like this is just this is crazy. This is crazy. Don Lemon is actually the one saying the right shit right here. All of those other non-FBA and non-ADOS groups are really quick, and they're real quick to point that out. They'll try to say it to a white person's face to gain some ground with a white person, and they'll put it in one of our faces to try to make us feel some kind of way. That's why they be getting made fun of. People be like, me no black. You know what I'm saying? We know y'all don't associate with us. Ain't nobody worried about it. Keep it moving. Go tell the people you trying to get a job from that you ain't black. We don't give a fuck. We already know your cooning ass think that. That's why you here. Because if you actually cared about anything, you would be fighting Al-Shabaab.
Well, but she was
Jamaica
born
did not
here.
come out of Jim Crow.
Okay, well,
I'm
let's go
just
into Ted
saying.
Cruz. Ted Cruz
I'm
was
not
born
talking
in
about
Canada.
Ted Cruz.
His father
This is
was
not
Cuban.
about Ted Cruz. You're
I
changing
know,
the subject.
but you know what?
No.
Exactly. But they same thing to Ted Cruz. They didn't do, but I don't want to get into the fake news shit.
Subscribe to the Dummy Funnies.
So I don't know what that is. And that just probably messed up my video because it's just some random ass kids at the end of this. But y'all get the drift. You know what I'm saying? Now, check this out. There was these 2 articles that came out. It was one article from Woke America. So you already know this article is going to be on some bullshit, talking shit about black people on the slide because white people think that we're too stupid to know that when they say something is woke, they're talking about black people indirectly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she got butt hurt like she got butt hurt like how Don Lemon do. You know what I'm saying? When he ain't been on a date in a while. she got butt hurt like Don Lemon be getting butt hurt when he ain't been on a date in a while, Faith. You know what I'm saying? So now here she go right here. Don Lemon and April D clashed over Senator Kamala Harris. Now this is old news, right? But they're bringing this back up because of what they're trying to do to Don Lemon. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to get Don Lemon out of here. So any instance where he said anything that may seem misogynistic or anything that may seem, questionable, whatever, they bringing it back. So now we bring it back. So now we got to talk about this because this is going viral again. CNN host Don Lemon and White House correspondent April Ryan clashed live on air over Democratic presidential candidate Senator Kamala Harris in a clip from her recent interview on The Breakfast Club. So she was on The Breakfast Club. So you already know what was going on there. That's the Democrat shill advertising firm. That's the Democrat marketing firm right there. The Breakfast Club. Do you realize that there are some people in this world that actually get their news from The Breakfast Club? Can you guys believe it? That's the news for some of them. I'm gonna watch The Breakfast Club so I can get my news. Ooh, what? That's actually their news. They watching The Breakfast Club for news. Y'all already lost, man. If that's what you're doing out here, you already lost. Harris spoke out about being proud of her blackness and those who question her identifying as an African American. Yeah, everybody should question. This is insane. She's not an African American. Her mother is an Asian and her father is not from Africa. Her father is a Jamaican. What are they talking about? Are Ukrainians allowed to immigrate to the United States and say that they're German American? Like, what is this shit? Listen, man. Every black person in the world should feel disrespected at the nonsense that white people present to black people for digestion. They don't even hold themselves to this standard and attempt to try to force it onto us. Faith said Angela Yeast. Faith said Angela Yeast is annoying. Yeah, and DJ Envy is a simp. DJ Envy is envious of other men. You know what I'm saying? Probably because his wife is looking at him more than she look at him. I can't stand The Breakfast Club, man. I can't stand Charlamagne the God. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand DJ Envy. Can't stand Angela Yeast. You know what I'm saying? That shit crazy, man. So now here it says Ryan then questioned why her blackness was even a debate, considering that she was of mixed heritage. Duh, that's the reason why it's of debate. The fuck? What? You're mixed. So I mean, if you ain't black, then you ain't mixed. What? Shout out to my man Grimlock 313. Grimlock said Angela Yee had a face for a radio. Did she? Yes, she did have a face for radio because you ain't got to show her face. Oh shit. Yeah, big facts, PD. Shout out to Tone. What's good with it, bro? Listen, they said Ryan then questioned why her blackness was even a debate, considering she was of mixed heritage. That's why. Because you're of mixed hair. The same reason why mixed people are. Listen, man. Look, man. Come on, man. Stop it. Everybody knows that. This is nothing new. Know what I'm saying? So now here it says, then Lemon hopped in. No. I think you're not hearing what people are saying. The people that are saying she is not black enough, that's bull, that's BS. But want that distinction to say, is she African American or is she black or whatever? There's nothing wrong with that. There's a difference between being African American and being black. And let's keep it a buck. No one was questioning Kamala Harris's blackness. Let's just get that out there. Kamala Harris's loyalty is what's being questioned because we see her pattern of behavior and how she treats black people. And now we see her turning around in her political campaign, attempting to placate and attempting to pander to black people. So we're saying, okay, the way that you're presenting yourself is not matching up with the things that you've already done in politics. So now we're looking even further, and now we see why that is. It's because you're not relatable to black people because you are not culturally the same as us. You look at just throwing black people in jail as a paycheck. That's what everybody else does. That's why we're looking at you like that. If you didn't have a track record of doing that kind of stuff, I'm sure there may be one or two people that might ask those kind of questions, which they're well within their right to ask, but it's your actions that got people asking that kind of stuff. And I got to agree with El Mahado. Politicians are great actors. Yeah, that's facts. Sometimes they're good actors. A lot of times they're bad actors. So now here it says, but Ryan was quick to check Lemon, doubling down that Harris is a black woman. Lemon continued, I agree with that, but is she African American? I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that Kamala Harris is a black woman. I don't agree with that Barack Obama is a black man. What I believe is that Kamala Harris and Barack Obama are manufactured for large-scale consumption, black presenting politicians. They're not black. They're not relatable. Let me ask you something. You think Kamala Harris know how to make some you think she know how to make some sweet potato pie? You think at Kamala Harris's house, they listen to This Christmas by Donny Hathaway? Did they do any of that shit? I don't think they did. They probably listen to something crazy. They probably listen to something crazy. You know what I'm saying? They probably listen to some crazy sounding shit. The Honorable Chris Dorner said her and her husband made some bland ass soul food. Facts. Nah, they didn't do nothing. Do you think that they understand the significance of the things that we draw from Martin Luther King, the significance of the things that we draw from Malcolm X, the significance of why we have to deal with the police and white supremacy Nah. Because where they're from, they're dealing with different things, not the things that we're dealing with here. Kamala Harris is carrying around some curry sauce in her. Kamala Harris is either carrying around some yum yum sauce or she carrying around some curry sauce in her purse. You know what I'm saying? Kamala Harris don't even know what grits and eggs is. They should have brought her to somebody on the breakfast. Since it's the Breakfast Club, they should have gave her some damn breakfast. They should have gave her some grits and eggs, and we have to watch that shit. And if you make faces while you eating it, you suspect. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says there's a difference, and there's nothing wrong with that. No one's trying to take anything away from her. I think you're falling into the trap of that. To want a distinction to say that she's African American, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a difference between being African American and just being black. All she had to say was that I'm black, not African American. Attorney and co-founder of ADOS, Antonio Moore, and host of Tone Talks on Dash Radio, said what Kamala Harris is doing is both inaccurate and further shows she can't deliver on the needs for ADOS blacks in America. If you can't understand, this isn't the birther argument from the right wing, as she alludes to in the Breakfast Club interview. How can we trust you to enact bold policy that targets American descendants of slavery? Her bringing up being born in Oakland implies black Americans across the country that are using hashtag ADOS are not talking about long-standing lineage and how that affects your personal drivers for transformative policy. Harris has paraded on websites and a persistent desire to list herself as the first African American to achieve so many milestones, and this projects a false progress that American DOS across this country are locked out of from achieving. America owes repairing to American DOS, and as MLK said, we're coming to get our check. And I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. He's absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? She putting hot sauce on that fried goat. Ugh. I put the hot sauce on the fried goat. Would you like to try? It goes very well with curry. Yeah, that's absolutely one of the reasons why they do that. I wouldn't necessarily even say our failure, Deneen. What I would say is that they're doing that. They're doing that to do the same thing that Nikki Haley did in her speech. I'm from parents of immigrants and I did it. What we're going to do is we're going to just act like we have no idea that anything went down here in the United States, and then try to shame black people by saying, look at what these new people are doing. That's all this is a game of. Not to mention, erasure. Shout out to my man, Philip. What's good with it, bro? So now this is an article from this thing called The Lid. Okay. This is an article from this thing called The Lid. And their take on it is a little bit different. Okay. I didn't know you were still in here, TD. I'm like, TD left. He gone. You know what I'm saying? TD bounced. You know what I'm saying? He put his glasses back on and bounced. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says when Don Lemon said Kamala Harris wasn't African American. So they got the memes, they got the big bold letters on here. This is YouTube thumbnail already. When Don Lemon said Kamala Harris couldn't call herself an African American. I don't think that she should. Oh, there you go. TD said he just came back. Yeah, see? He just came back. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says there's an undercurrent of debate going on in social media on the issue of Kamala Harris' race. No, listen, man, there's no debate going on. This is a closed issue. This is something that is being circulated in the white media to promote confusion, and something that white people, if you ask them the same question in the same situation with a white person, it would be an open and shut answer. It would be an open and shut answer. You know what I'm saying? People will eat if you talk to white people and you tell a white person, you know what I'm saying, like Barack Obama's not black, or if you tell them like, I don't look at Kamala Harris as black, they'll look at you funny, like, how dare you not accept them as black? And the reason why they looking at you like that is because they like, for damn sure you're not about to call them white. And see, when I'm talking to a white person, I do call them white. I said Barack Obama's a white parent. He got a white mom that raised him, or a white person. You know what I'm saying? He got a white mom that raised him. Because when those very same people, they'll criticize Colin Kaepernick and say, this guy hates white people, and it was white people that raised him. I never heard Colin Kaepernick say that he hated white people in his life. I've never heard that. But remember, anytime you talk about the injustices, because this country was founded on the American dream of being able to have a race of people that you can just beat up without consequence. If you don't allow people to do that, they, in their warped brains, call it hate. You know what I'm saying? So, Colin Kaepernick ain't with that. So he made his little documentaries, and you know what I'm saying? Like he messed his career up, you know what I'm saying, in the name of doing what he's doing, which he's getting a paycheck for. So it's not like he ain't getting no benefit out of it, but he could be playing football, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is that they'll take that logic and try to tell you that Colin Kaepernick is white. Why is he acting like this? He's a hypocrite. They'll say that Colin Kaepernick is a hypocrite because he's white. But then when you tell them, yeah, Colin Kaepernick is white, just like Obama and just like Kamala Harris, they'll look at you funny. You know what I'm saying? So now here go my question for you, TN. TN said Obama was inserted into the hood. Kamala into an HBCU for blackness cover. Here go my question. Did it work? And let me know what everybody thinks about the answer to that. Did it work? And here's another question. Why does it keep working? What happened to fool me once? Shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. When it comes to us, it's like fool me 5,000 times, but still shame on you. Like, why is it like that? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. But when it comes to us, though, you can fool me 6,000 times and it's still your fault. Like, why is it like that? Do anybody else notice that? Like, you know what I'm saying? So now here it says one of the reasons Biden picked Kamala Harris for his VP choice was that she may attract black voters. And again, fool me 5,000 times. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me the same way 5,000 times, still shame on you. Joe Biden, listen, look at this. Let's just put this out here. We call Joe Biden dumb all the time, right? Like, we just did this stream a couple days ago, and they were talking about the mental competency test and stuff like that, and everybody was saying how stupid and how much of an idiot Joe Biden is, right? And yes, I agree. Joe Biden is an idiot, but it's not really honest if we're going to sit here and say Joe Biden is an idiot, but he was smart enough to make a move that tricked 97% of black people who have been dealing with moves like that ever since the inception of this country and still just haven't grasped the concept. So Philip says, I think it did work on most people, not me. Our people are confused on a situation that's not confusing. So so now here's my question. What does that say about those people that are confused? That's the question. TD says, quick random question. Have you ever heard of the YouTube channel Philon? What's that? Philion? Nah, I never. Oh, is that Philion? Is that how you pronounce that? Nah, I never heard of that. What do they talk about? Carlton said, off code media alert. Man, if that's going off code, if addressing the issue of why people are fooled by the same trick for centuries, if that's going off code, then I guess people staying fooled is on code, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I guess. You know what I'm saying? Well, people will say that. You off code and shit. You off code. Why? Because I want motherfuckers to not get tricked. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to examine this issue. Why is it that it's just all we got to do is just get Kamala Harris, who's clearly not black, and she may attract black voters? Here's the results. The event was Biden picked Kamala Harris as his VP choice. The inarguable historical fact is that 97% of black people voted for the Biden-Harris pairing. Why did that happen? Who's ultimately responsible for those choices? The Honorable Chris says, I don't even think they tricked anybody. Kamala Harris going to a HBCU would have been enough to get the black vote. Why? Here's my question. Why? If you ask me, a lot of HBCUs, especially with a lot of the information coming out about them, they shouldn't even get their tuition. Look at the kind of people the HBCUs are manufacturing. There's absolutely no excuse for centuries of getting tricked by the same trick. There's no excuse for it. And that right there is one of the reasons why the world is correct. So now here it says, but some have questioned whether or not she can be considered black enough as her mother. Now, here's my thing, right? Black enough. Black enough for what? Black enough for what I want to know is she relatable? Is she going to put in place policies that are specific to targeting the disparities that we, ADOS, Freeman, FBA, that we have here in the United States? Are they going to correct any of the redlining, the Jim Crow, eugenics, any of that stuff that affected our parents? Because while all these people are sitting up here talking this crazy shit, our parents went through that. If you're the same age as me, your parents went through it. If you got grandparents that are alive, your grandparents went through it. This shit wasn't in ancient times. The immigrants that are coming here to the United States are on code with the people that are already here to stamp out your history. They just want everybody to shut up. And Kamala Harris is one of them. And so is Nikki Haley. That's why when it came to is the United States a racist country or not, that's why Kamala Harris, Nikki Haley, and Tim Scott can all be on different sides of the political spectrum, and they can all say the same thing. That's why they can all say the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says her mother was from India. And remember, on her birth certificate, her mother put that she was white. And her dad was from Jamaica. During the primary season in February of 2019, CNN's Don Lemon and April Ryan had an argument about Kamala Harris's blackness. Y'all ever seen somebody argue about somebody's whiteness on TV? That's my question. Have they ever done that? If y'all have ever seen that, let me know who it was that did it and what show it was on and how they got to that point about arguing about somebody's whiteness. I think it's our fault for foregoing logic and for foregoing reality and for foregoing the things that we see right in front of our face. I think it's our fault for attempting to use escapism to solve problems. Things like religion and relationships. You know what I'm saying? When you distract yourself with that kind of stuff, you'll never solve any kind of problem that's at hand, in my opinion. And in my opinion, that's what a lot of people do. That's what a lot of people do. I think people need to start standing their ground. That's what I think people do about it. The best weapon that anybody has is their brain. The second best weapon that you have is your network of people that you know around you or people that you do business with. And I think people should have some pride in who they are. That those talks of I don't see race only happen when you talk about, you know, the contributions that black people have made to the United States. When it comes to anybody else, it's, oh, they were just an immigrant. Nobody ever says, well, I don't see resident status. I don't see citizenship status. I just see a person. Nobody says that. But it's perfectly okay for white people to go around and say how stupid black people are. Black people don't contribute to anything, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. When black people start saying, well, you know, we did this and we did that, and we did this and we did that. Well, why are you bringing race into it? I think people got to start turning up. Start cooking these people. Oh, they see race. They see race, Chris. They just don't want you to see race. You know what I'm saying? People that don't see race can't come up with a race-based slavery system or a race-based Jim Crow system because you can't see race, remember? So if you couldn't see race, then you wouldn't know who would be slaves, and it would just be everybody being slaves, and you wouldn't see race, so it wouldn't be anybody being segregated. It would just be either everybody segregated for a reason that has nothing to do with race. And that's not what we had. They absolutely 110% definitely see race. They have no business ever forming their mouths to call anybody a race hustler. All of the billions of dollars that the United States created based on anti-black racism, and they have the nerve, the gall to try to call somebody else a race hustler or try to call somebody else a race baiter when they literally used black children as actual bait. You had to be a certain race to be used as alligator bait. Like, come on, man, stop it. You know what I'm saying? If the world wants to make you the bad guy, then be the worst possible bad guy that you can be. That's my goal. Any name that you can call me because of the things that I'm talking about, I want to double down on it and be the thing that you think about in your nightmares when you close your eyes. That is my goal. And I think that's what people should consider, because you have to understand that in this world that we live in this system that we live in, there is no incentive for anybody to see you as a decent person or a human being. So they're not going to, because it's not incentivized. So since it's not incentivized, the only thing that you can do is benefit from the fear that they falsely created. So now here it says, as reported by Atlanta Black Star on February 13th, episode of CNN Tonight, Lemon shouted down April Ryan during a discussion about Kamala Harris's blackness. And we just saw that. And I didn't see I don't know if that's the whole, I don't know if that was the whole episode, but in that episode, it didn't look like Don Lemon was shouting her down. It looked like she was shouting down Don Lemon. So now here it says, as for Harris, I have only heard her describe herself as a person of color, which is a strange phrase, because when I have a sunburn, I'm a person of color, as I am neither black nor African American. Although in high school I did have that one of them a dim folks fro. There's no such thing as a dim folks fro. You know what I'm saying? Dim folks don't have fros. It's called an afro because African people have them. You know what I'm saying? You got tight curls. That's what you got. You ain't got no fro. There's no such thing as a J fro. You know what I'm saying? Sorry if I sound anti-Semitic. Actually, I'm not sorry, but you don't have a fro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, all you gotta do is just look up Blacklight Revelations on Facebook. Shout out to Tia. What up with it, Tia? So now here it says, and the position laid out by Don Lemon or anyone else who believes in the ADOS movement is outside my experience. So the dim folks person says that this quote unquote. So basically what the dim folks person is saying is that something's wrong with you if you don't lump all black people into the African American category, because it's just not familiar to his experience. And since it's not familiar to his experience, well, then it just can't be an experience. I mean, it just can't be an experience if it's not, if it's not his experience. There's a disturbing thing about this argument, and actually there's not. There's nothing disturbing about it. What's disturbing is that they want to try to use us as a genetic trash can. That's what's disturbing about it. Because let me tell you something about this argument. Why this dude is sitting up here talking about this, this is disturbing. I bet you his grandmother in that dim folks household wouldn't accept somebody who is mixed with them folks unless they did something noteworthy. I read a lot of my articles from my videos from dim folks media outlets, and the only time they ever talk about black people who are mixed with dim folks is when they won some kind of acting award or some kind of Oscar award or something like that. And then they never call them black. They always call them dim folks. And then when that's over, they just never talk about them again. Along with similar typical personal knocks about Kamala Harris seen on social media during the past 24 hours, things such as she only got her start because she was the girlfriend of San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, and that generations ago her ancestors were slave owners. Okay, and here's my thing. Somebody who they still hunt down the people that persecuted these people today, as far as I'm concerned, we need to be paying attention to who these Adoso's families are. We already know Ben Affleck is an Adoso. We already know that Joe Biden is an Adoso. Other Adosos, Kevin Bacon. And probably people that got the same last name as you. If somebody has the same last name as you in the United States, you can assume that person is an Adoso. Your last name Williams, your last name Johnston, your last name Jenkins. You know what I'm saying? My last name ain't Mbuku, which means I'm not African American. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, not one of those personal attacks matters. It's her political positions that are important. And her political position is shitting on black people, which is why black people are asking, are you really black? Like, what is this shit talking about? What is this talking about? You know what I'm saying? When I see Kamala Harris, I see a left-wing extremist who wants government-run healthcare, and banning private health care. Harris wants an executive order taking away people's guns, wants to ban fracking, and supports the Green New Deal. Kamala Harris recruited illegal immigrants to work in her Senate office, said our ICE officers were KKK, and delivered a 15 felony indictment against 2 pro-life reporters who made the undercover videos exposing Planned Parenthood sales of the parts of recently aborted babies, just to name a few of her radical positions. Now, I find it interesting that he's not mentioning any of the negative shit that she did specifically to black people. Oh, no, I know, Faith. No, I did. I remember I had said Izzy was telling me about how bad Kamala Harris is. No matter who Joe Biden picked as his running mate, my vote was going to the Trump-Pence ticket. The fact that he picked Kamala Harris as his vice president makes me confident in my vote selection. By the way, I can attest to the fact that Kamala Harris isn't a J. Try to challenge me on that. So now what's interesting is that it's clear that she's not J, but actually she should be because she's married to a J. You see? But what this person writing this article can do, what I can tell you is that she's not a J. Well, technically she is because she married in. But somehow you can't say that she's not black. Somehow you can't say that she's not black. That's that shit right there. That's that shit. And I'm telling you, what these people need is these people need to be embarrassed on a large scale, repeatedly, on repeat, day after 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 day until it sticks. Because otherwise, they're going to do the same thing to us until they just erase everything that we hold dear. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the goal is. That's what the goal is. So as long as I got my YouTube channels, plural, you know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that I will be doing. Because one thing that these people think is that they can literally just say anything and there's no consequence. There's no rebuttal. There's no embarrassment. There's no payback. There's no any of that. Nah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. When you create a deterrent and a reason for people to stop behaving in a certain way, they stop. When you allow people to continue to abuse you, or when you allow people to continue doing vile things, they continue to do them. So the things that I talk about on my channel, in my opinion, are things that people should notice, and hopefully good quality rebuttals and ways to not only intellectually defend yourself, but intellectually dominate any conversation like this or any attack that these people may attempt to try to place on you. Never be ashamed of who you are in this country. There's only we're the only group of people that doesn't have a reason to be ashamed of who we are in this country. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Please make sure you guys leave a comment at the end of the stream. Also, make sure that you share it to your social media, and I will catch you all on the next video. All right?